Day 4. We're almost there, everyone.
No.
If it is, for whatever reason, your first time with us, then I recommend rewinding a couple episodes because we are currently up to our 4th part out of 5 of Hot Button's official 2021 Game of the Year Deliberations. I'm Randall Beatrice, here with Austin Blakesley.
Yo.
Sean Chambers.
Hello.
Chelsea Romano.
They haven't let me leave yet.
And Matt Newboom.
Hey there.
I've been in this room.
You get to go home and sleep.
Today's categories are going to be a bit of a yin and yang situation. Also one likely to start some arguments, so I'm excited.
Yin and yang.
We have biggest surprise and biggest disappointment. What pleasantly shocked us in terms of overall quality and what let us down. So let's begin with the bad and end on the positive. Biggest disappointment. Each of these can best be described with an expectation versus reality scenario, which means the same title can not only technically appear on both lists, but it might not be like that extreme of an opinion either. There are plenty of games we enjoy and yet can still find disappointing. It's funny, we have more here than surprising. I don't know what that says about us, but the nominees are 12 Minutes, The Ascent, Nickelodeon, is it All Stars Brawl?
I think so.
Battlefield 2042, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Remastered, Biomutant, WarioWare Get It Together, Animal Crossing, it says Happy Home Fuck This Shit.
I might have wrote that.
The Medium, Back 4 Blood, Metroid Dread, Call of Duty Vanguard, Destruction All Stars, Game Builder Garage, Mario Golf Super Rush, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, Potion Craft, Harvest Moon One World, The Artful Escape, and Aliens Fire Team Elite.
Okay. Which one of you fuckers put Metroid Dread on the most disappointing? Okay, I'm just going to start fighting right now. It's just like...
it's actually not me. It was Randy.
It was me.
So, yeah, I have friends who played it, and they all said they liked it, and I was like, I heard it was bad. Because, I didn't play it, so I don't really know.
You only heard it was bad from this guy. I liked it.
Talk to Dave.
I was indifferent.
Oh, yeah, Dave didn't like it either.
I never
Some
said
things
it
I
was
liked,
bad.
some things I didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I said I hated it. There's a difference.
Yes. And that is...
Which is the spirit of this category.
One of my
We're
friends
really kicking it off.
who liked it, he was like, I didn't beat it. I played what I wanted, and then I stopped playing. And I was like, but you liked it? And he went, yeah.
I'm coming at it from
like
the angle of a Metroid fan, too.
I did not put this on this list. I personally was not a fan, but I wouldn't say it's the most disappointing game of the year. Randy added it.
There's always accounting for taste, but even accounting for taste, I think we cannot, no. I will fight whoever...
Oh, fine. Then talk to me, because so I eventually did start it last week. It's funny, because I can now formally say... I mean... I thought this was going to be you two, but if it's me, it's me.
Yeah,
because
hit me.
I kind of hated it right out of the gate. I think it looks cheap, and the opening of the campaign of a $60 fucking game should not begin with a slideshow. The claw control with the triggers made me want to die. I was getting hand cramps 45 minutes into that.
That's
game.
interesting.
I was, and the Emmy, I found the Emmys far more annoying than scary.
I think we've had discussions where we can all agree that the Emmys, I feel like the first couple of Emmys were pulse pounding, and then the last couple were...
I mean, it's I know that the parry system is intentionally unreliable. I don't totally know why. Your counter.
The counter system, so I'm curious. It's it seems like it is pretty much. It's just more of Super Metroid. It's just more of that. But what is there of Super Metroid? It is really good. So my question is, are you guys not used to the 2D Metroids? How many?
No, I've played all of them except for Samus Returns, which was a remake of 2. But I wasn't actively using my 3DS a lot at that point.
So
I think the controls are bad.
Okay.
I wish the player options weren't so thin, and I could customize a bit of the controls myself.
You ready for a bombshell?
But mostly, I just found the challenge level mean.
You ready for the bombshell?
What?
I am on Matt's side. I wouldn't put this in most disappointing.
I
think
de-emphasizing the atmospheric exploration is at odds with what Metroid, the heart of Metroid, is to me. Because I wanted to recreate the feelings that I got playing Prime for the first time.
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean by it's just
That was a reinvention that knocked it out of the park to me.
and I think that's it. You need to go into it like it's not a follow up to Prime. It's a follow up to Fusion and Super.
Which
Metroid,
I liked.
Yeah.
I think the standards were.
Yeah, I mean,
different.
I think. Listen, I think if you wind up playing Metroid Prime 4 whenever it might come out in the far
who
future,
the fuck knows?
Yeah, who the fuck knows? Okay, I think that is like if you're a Metroid Prime fan, I loved Metroid Prime. I love those games.
Yeah, no, me too.
And so I am also going to be putting.
That was a risk.
There's going to be a high expectation there. Okay.
Do you think it taking a decade plus for Nintendo to give like starving Metroid enthusiasts like a fresh hot meal like played a factor?
I mean, I think I genuinely
just because there hasn't been any shortage of the genre to feed them, but in both the AAA and indie space.
Again, like I said, there's always accounting for taste, which is why I have not been like. It's like I understand that it's like it was oversold for sure, but I still think it is a very damn good game. Like that's why I'm not going up to bat for it for any of these other.
I'll
awards,
knock it off the list, but the last thing I'm going to say is I put it down when there was an Emmy on the other side of a door.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize they were there.
Okay,
and it was there wasn't even an animation. It was just like door opened and I blinked and it said game over, and I was like, "Fuck you!" like that's like.
I'm just saying it
felt unfair.
It's like you finally drew it out of me, Randy. It's like when you guys were talking about how much you weren't a fan of Metroid Dread, I was like, okay, it's fine, that's taste. But when you put it on the biggest disappointment list, it's like
something with Dread in the title, I think should like.
Yeah,
no, that's just because you love Judge Dredd.
No, I love Dredd, not Judge Dredd. There's a difference between that movie and the Sylvester Stallone one.
And the game.
No, the game's great.
As a person
Dredd
who
versus Death.
Walked into Dredd with incredibly high expectations, it felt like when you're at the top of a roller coaster getting ready for that drop. But with roller coasters, when the drop happens, it's fun and exhilarating and exciting. Whereas with Metroid Dread, it was like I was riding high. It was going for a while. And then like a couple hours in, it just slowly, it wasn't like let the gears go and just drop me. It was like a slow decline. And that's not fun for anybody. So
baby roller coaster.
I was really excited for this game. And with my own personal gripes aside, I personally can't say that it was the most disappointing thing.
No, I wasn't even going to go that far. I just wanted to.
Because I came hot off that game.
Piss Matt off.
I already know I'm in the minority.
I came hot off of that game with like a pretty frustrating end because we played it in totally different styles.
Yeah.
You played it where you did the not 100%?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you do all that before you went and fought the final boss?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I went into the boss 100%.
And
that boss is hard.
Right.
That boss is hard, even with all the shit.
And I wasn't rushing to the finish. I was playing it how I normally play a Metroid game, which is all the other shit is optional. Anything that's like on your path and easy to get is like, makes sense, right? Yeah. And I wasn't trying to be efficient or, like I said, like speed run it. I was trying to play it the way that I played the old GBA games, which I had a lot of fond memories with.
Yeah.
But when I got to the end and you have this super intense, very difficult boss fight that is only harder because it's not scaled. It's only harder for you if you have less missiles and less health. To say that I took 2 hours to beat that boss is not the way I wanted to walk away from that game.
It's a hard boss. Listen, the way I beat that is I had 4 health left and I think 3 missiles left. I'm like, this is my last shot, and if I don't get this, it's done. And then that was the last shot I needed, and I was like, holy fuck.
Matt, if it'll make you feel better, slight spoilers for Head, Metroid Dread is also in most or biggest surprise. So
that's
the pendulum swings both ways.
The pendulum swings both ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's
move on.
What next?
I'll go next.
All right.
Who put the Artful Escape on here, Randy?
Me. Because everybody tricked me into thinking that game was going to be cool, and it's lame.
But I
think I've already said my piece on Artful Escape. I think on day 1, but it's just I found its integration of music is kind of shallow and minimal, and I just didn't find. I wasn't enticed by the whimsy of the story. I understand
that you didn't like it. But do you think it's most disappointing? That's the only question.
Well, I found it disappointing because of the praise it was getting. I know that's a very personal thing, but it's an Annapurna joint. They have a really high track record. with the exception of 12 minutes.
I was gonna say, was it 12 minutes also?
But it was like, I went to, I fired it up after it was, it was collecting like a Game of the Year, like nominations in various categories for Game of the Year stuff. And I don't know, I just did.
I can say pretty comfortably that it doesn't meet the bar for most disappointing for me. Because not that I had high expectations going in, but
that's more my thing. I enjoyed it, but I didn't have high expectations.
I love the premise, and I thought it had a wonderful like trailer. I just,
If anything, I was more surprised by it.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that game and Metroid are in both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, do you honestly think it's most disappointing?
It can be to me, I don't think as a collective.
Okay, I think we should cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's not the one. That's not the hill I'm gonna die on.
Yeah.
No, the hill he's gonna die on is Monkey Ball.
No, because if you played
I thought
the
that game was great.
The hill I'm gonna roll down on.
If you actually
roll off of.
If you played the game, you would have actually like slid down the hill, and then jumped through the air, and then hit this clean.
This
riff.
Monkey Ball would have glitched out, and the physics would have.
So. There are a lot of, there's like some games on here that it's like, oh, this is going to be like a kind of a tough category to nominate. Because I see a lot of disappointments on this list, but I feel like we got to get through a lot of the ones that were like, there's some of them on here that's like, they were still pretty okay games. Like they're not that disappointing.
That's why they're disappointing, not worst game.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact,
I can see big disappointments on here and some of these that are like, like for example, okay, WarioWare Get It Together jumps out to me.
I think that game is profoundly disappointing.
I want to star that one.
Yeah.
You want to star that one?
I want to star that one.
Wow.
That's top of the list for me.
From the moment of its reveal, we knew something was wrong. I love this series.
Yeah.
And its barrage of wackiness and good times with a group of people. It's like unrivaled. But we literally fired up the GameCube one less than a month ago, and it's still just universally just fucking solid.
Yeah, that was a blast.
But the confusing decision to fundamentally destroy everything that made WarioWare, like, first of all, they designed it that you now control your avatar characters directly.
Yeah.
Which is super limiting. So rather than scrambling to figure out the microgames as they're thrown at you, it's so weird. They move differently and have separate abilities, making all the modes feel like really homogenized and kind of unbalanced. Like half of them practically share the same set of moves, but with minor changes.
The beauty of WarioWare is passing that controller around and frantically grabbing the controller and being like, oh shit, what do I do? And they're just like, cut the nose hair. And you have to figure out that the nose trimmer's on the bottom of the screen. You got to hit A and make it go up into the nostril or whatever. This game fundamentally changes that gameplay loop to where you are no longer trying to figure out what the game is. You're trying to figure out what your character does and how that character applies to the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And by doing so, the rules of the game are simpler. And I think that all of that combined really destroys the fun of WarioWare.
And the flow. No longer the games are instantaneous. Like, there's boss fights that are a drag, and the forced unlock system is irritating. Like, it locks the full multiplayer behind their shitty campaign. I don't know. It's just, and it also doesn't take advantage of any of the Switch's, like, distinct features.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally 1-2 Switch is a more successful showpiece.
Yep. Well, it's a better WarioWare game, too.
Okay. And it's also, last thing, this is not an IP that lends itself well to co-op. Like, it's supposed to be competition-based. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they tried something outside what you'd expect, and I get that. But WarioWare isn't meant to be complicated. It's meant to be inviting and pick up and play. Like,
okay. I mean, it's fine if you want to start.
A portion of our sessions had to get dedicated to explaining how it works. You know?
Yeah.
Never how WarioWare has worked in the past.
What's up?
No,
never.
It's literally like, oh
you
my God.
You literally throw the controller at someone and be like, how do I do this? You're like, fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, literally every time we play that game, someone's like, I don't know how to play. And we're just like, yeah, that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
This series was pure, and this is the first bad one of these. Like, it's...
So, okay, since you're starring that one, then, Austin, it is your job to cut one now. What is not making it to the top?
I got an easy one. Destruction All-Stars. Did anybody have an expectation for that? No. I think that's a worst game contender for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell is Destruction
I keep forgetting
All-Stars?
it even released this year.
So basically what Destruction All-Stars is it's like a shitty version of Twisted. It's like Twisted Metal with the risk of giving Randy a boner. It's like Twisted Metal mixed with Burnout
It's so wishes.
And then you can also get out of the car and like parkour around the stage. So you're in these arenas, and the whole point is to basically drive around with no weapons and just Burnout style take down people, check them into walls, and it's like a deathmatch thing, and none of it works. None of it works. It's all bad.
And if your car gets exploded, you have to run around and you can get run over. But there's also like new cars on new platforms that you can take. And each, like, just like Twisted Metal, each car or each type.
You have to eject. You have to eject out of your car, like in Titanfall.
I think the expectation came
or you'll die.
That it had a $70 price tag and was a PlayStation 5 exclusive that was delayed.
It had a $70 price tag. 2020. They delayed it from launch.
Yeah.
They then gave it away for free on PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
Then when PlayStation Plus free period ended, it went from 70 to 20 somehow.
Yep.
And it's officially dead. Nobody plays it anymore.
Wow. Oh, I remember. I think I saw you playing.
That is kind of shocking
when we lived together.
Yeah,
holy God, that was still 2021. That was like, I'm thinking, I'm just like, oh no, I was like, that was over at the Mantua house. I was like, that was 2021. Holy hell, that's dude, feels like a long time.
But that's the game I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I more than anybody had some expectation that it could be fun. More than anybody we know. And I'm saying it's not disappointing. It's just bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can cut
and
that.
knock it off with that fucking art style already.
What, the Fortnite art style?
Yeah.
Everything's so wet.
You already know what that game
wet?
looks like before even Googling it.
Listen, dry lighting is not impressive.
Yeah, but it makes
What's the
everything
game
look
called?
wet.
Destruction All-Stars.
I have one that I
Okay.
feel like we can knock off this list. The
Yep.
Medium. That's
I
right.
don't
I'm
think
taking you to
it's-
task, motherfucker.
Me again?
You
Am I
put
the only
most-
one who's got the balls?
No, because I don't overall, like, full disclosure, I like the Medium. Full disclosure, you did not like the Medium.
I didn't hate the Medium.
Yeah, I didn't think it's the most disappointing.
was it the-
I mean, as we've stated, it was in development for a long while and faced many struggles, particularly with their split screen mechanic, which is cool. But it's very underutilized, and it's only forced at certain instances here and there.
Right.
Can I cut you off?
What?
I know why you put it on here. You put it on here because of Blair Witch. Because you like Blair
That
Witch
is
so much.
true.
But did you forget that they also made Layers of Fear 1 and 2 and Observer? If you compare the Medium to those, it's surprising as shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and I haven't even played all
as
of
the
it.
category implies. And I know Bluebird, they're not the most well-funded studio.
They got Troy Baker.
They did. I don't know.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
The
NF Troy.
Nice.
The anticipation for this ran strong with me. You know, with the Silent Hill like connection and the setting being unique and the vibes it's engrossing at times for sure. I just think the raw moment-to-moment gameplay was flat.
I could understand that, yeah.
You know, and too much of where like it gets interesting is pretty backloaded. You know, like it's
yeah. I mean, it is a
especially
relatively
with
slow
puzzles
start.
and
yeah. I don't know. I feel like
I
they
still
really
don't think
delivered on that split screen
I don't know.
experience.
And a lot of what you see until then is reduced to that like horror stealth I've never been totally fond of.
I mean, that's
yeah, except for the
horror
in
games.
the
no, it's not all horror games. That's
It's all non-Resident Evil horror games.
with the exception the horror stealth stuff. With the exception of what 2 hours into the game, you're getting chased down. And the main goal is to run as fast as you can and survive. It's about as fast as that game goes, I'll give you that. But.
And we joked before about the protagonist and her thoughts are
I mean,
insufferable.
I think she's annoying, but
it does
overall,
have ideas. It's just
overall, I think it
begins and closes respectfully.
I went into this with low expectations because of what you had said about your experience.
Yeah.
But I guess I came away pleasantly surprised because all in all,
yeah, this is most surprising in Sean's book.
I relatively enjoyed my time with it. I can't say personally that it would get my nod for most disappointing. So that's why I think it deserves to be cut.
I got one we could take off the list.
I think it's just I don't know. It's just kind of a bit shallow and fairly stale to me. But there's a lot about it I like.
Right.
But and it should have been scarier too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all valid complaints,
but it can go.
Yeah.
All right, I got one we could take off the list. And that's the Harvest Moon game. And as bad as that game was, we could take it off the list because any game named Harvest Moon has not been good for the last like 5 Harvest Moon games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we went over this in your category.
Yeah.
Like I explained this already.
The mix up with Story of Seasons and
that
naming
that anything named Harvest Moon has not been good since the 3DS.
So you knew what you were getting.
I didn't even fucking play it because I know better. Because I know those games are trash.
Everyone's been coming at me. I'm just gonna suggest this one because I have not played it. But who wants to tell me about Biomutant?
Okay.
I heard mixed
Did
receptions.
you beat it?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
Me either.
I'll go first. Mine's short.
Okay.
There's something there with it.
Personally, coming into this list, if I had like a top 2, this one might be in there. It's definitely in like my top 5.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where to put it. It might be top 2, but basically,
to cut you off, I completely agree. I want this to be up there.
All right, it can stay.
because I was really looking forward to this. Even though like people were pretty lukewarm on it. I guess people were, before it came out, were like, "Oh, this looks good," and blah blah blah. But then when it came out, I totally missed it, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I should go back and play this." So I picked it up, played it for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I immediately was like, I am not even remotely interested in continuing. No return time either.
I completely agree. I said this before on this podcast. It has the spirit that this industry so incredibly lacks, which is that AA.
Yeah,
it's made by THQ Nordic. It feels like an old THQ
They're
game,
kind of filling
or like a Midway game, or even like an Acclaim game. Like it's so fucking weird, and the trailers looked so cool because you're like this mouse mutant thing, and you're in a world where humans have, through pollution, destroyed the earth, and the animals have all mutated from the pollution and are now running the earth.
Okay, I know.
And you have like, you're basically going around to these different animal kingdoms and helping them out or fighting them, and you can pick to mutate yourself into like a gunner or a soldier or a rogue or like any of those typical classes, or like a wizard. And there's magic, and you level up through mutating, and it all, like, on paper should have been great.
Yeah.
And it just feels so bad to play. And in presentation, there's so many mistakes. The sound design is awful to the point where it affects the combat. It doesn't control well or feel good. It's boring as shit. The dialogue is bad. There's a narrator that's annoying as shit.
Yeah, I was like reading about how vast and open the world is, but it's pretty empty, and it's like it seems very curated. Vast. Yeah, but it's very.
They just didn't fill it with anything,
right? Yeah, that's, again, I only got 2 hours in, but like I said, I walked away.
I believe
comfortably.
I am around the 2 hour range as well.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We're keeping that.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing.
I'm gonna cut one. I'm gonna speak on it a little bit, but Call of Duty Vanguard. I mean, besides burning down everything we loved about zombies, Call of Duty Vanguard is what I thought it was going to be, sort of. The game's single player is gorgeous.
Yeah.
One of the best looking games I've ever seen.
I mean, by sheer brute force of, I guess, resources at its disposal. Yeah. And I like
45 dev teams.
Yeah. And how big is it? You download it in chunks. It is off the disc.
I believe the back of the box says 190.
Oh shoot.
And that's at launch before the patches for multiplayer.
I mostly fell off of it when it came to the narrative's like identity crisis.
Yeah.
It's
literally, yeah.
Yeah, I've said this joke before, and I'll say it again: is that Call of Duty can't decide whether or not war is bad or badass.
Yeah,
so
Call of Duty games are not political.
I think because the opening level is actually really neat conceptually. It's a train chase, so you're hopping between 2 trains back to back. But your characters are like that you're with, like your squad, they might as well be superheroes.
Okay.
It looks like Captain America.
You didn't finish it, and now I get to spoil this shit.
Go for it.
I know
they're going for an Inglourious Basterds.
They really are.
Yeah.
Yep. They're also going for a bit of a Wolfenstein. New Order, New Colossus.
That game handles tone beautifully, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, in Wolfenstein, you literally, like, see Hitler. They're, like, repurposed Nazis who are, like, overly evil. And basically, for those of you that don't know, you are an elite team soldiers from all around the world. You got an Australian explosives expert, you got a British commander, you got a Russian sniper lady. All of them are based in reality, but they're all fictional. Like they're based off real people who did a lot of good shit in World War II. Who's the other guy? The American, the pilot.
Yep.
There was no women in World War II.
There is a woman. There was a very, very famous Russian woman sniper.
Yes.
There was like two women in World
did
War
not exist.
You also already kind of
War
played
II.
as a surrogate of her in Call of Duty Finest Hour, but I guess everyone
I was going to say, I feel like I've already played this Russian
they've done
sniper
this before.
character.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is like this
Super Squad.
and
Maybe
the
some
story.
some type of Justice League or
Yeah. The story,
Fantastic Five. Sorry, go ahead.
like a SEAL Team
6?
5, maybe. There are 6. One of them dies in the opening. But
Spoilers.
yeah. So the story of the game is opening mission is you're trying to capture some Nazi intelligence.
Yeah.
They capture you.
It's a cool looking level.
They throw you in a jail, but right after you get thrown in jail, whoopsie, Hitler shot himself. So now
Whoopsie doodle.
the thing that I think the game actually handles really well
The music.
is the
music's
music's
fantastic.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But there's the cutscenes are absolutely gorgeous. They pre-rendered them all. They animated them at 24 frames a second. Very cinematic. They do the cinematic aspect ratio, everything.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking game. There's a lot of like Game of Thrones political vacuum struggle thing with the Nazis where it's like, Führer's dead. Who's in charge now?
The next Fuhrer.
I think that was
No,
I thought it was baby
I'm
Hitler.
gonna be Führer.
Actually,
I'm gonna be Führer.
I'm the king.
Actually, I think
that
after all
crown.
the high command died, it was Carl Rader. He was like head of the Navy or whatever, and they
Right, but they
relocated.
expand it so that you see all of them like backstabbing each other
Yeah.
and killing each other's
Interesting.
staffs and stuff.
Threatening
Yeah.
each
That
other.
stuff's really cool.
Yeah, that sounds
And the
alright.
game is told through a series of vignettes where it's basically like you're trapped in jail, and we're like,
How'd you get here?
"How'd you get here?" And then you basically play the mission. You play 2 missions as each character, and these missions prove to your squad they prove why you're on this elite squad. Basically, they're kind of cool. The last mission, you break out of jail, and it's literally you fighting your way through the entirety of the biggest Nazi compound in all of Germany to try and kill this one guy who's going to escape with these secret plans that you were trying to get at the beginning of the game. And they literally do this thing where they're like, you play as each character and it keeps shifting focus. And he's like, "You got this, right?" And he like throws a thing, and then the camera follows the thing, and you see the guy catch it, and then you zoom into his vision. He's like, "I got it, sir." And then it's like
Really hammed up.
so hammed up and
If you
cheesy.
think about
Yeah.
where this franchise began, where they looked at war with this level of like gravitas and like with how serious and I don't know.
And that's the funny thing is that the vignettes and the Nazi struggle part does.
Yeah.
But also you're playing like the fucking Ally Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I used to really dig World War shooters, man, but I feel like they've harvested every last facet of that war.
That's the only reason I jumped into this one, because I'd taken the last couple Call of Duties off.
It's treaded ground.
That being said, the campaign is not the disappointing part. The disappointing part is zombies.
Yeah. We didn't even discuss the competitive multiplayer, but
we don't have to.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about zombies. I'll just do what I'm planning to do later with Monkey Ball. They ruined zombies.
They did.
How and why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
there were more innovative experiences to sink your teeth into when this launched.
I say we keep it for now.
All right.
Because of zombies. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the reason I say really is because I'm looking at
That
this
plot
list.
made me want to stick with
There's
it.
like
though.
multiple top contenders for me on this list that would go way higher than all these games.
That's
but
true,
if
but-
you insist on keeping it on there, go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
Let me get one. Chelsea, did you have any expectations for Happy Home Paradise?
Yeah, I guess I didn't, because I played the 3DS one,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still really bad.
Yeah.
And I know I'm like not alone, but like I know a lot of people did like it, and I know it did well, but I thought it sucked. And knowing that that's the only DLC that game will ever get, it's just salt in the fucking wound.
Okay, so close your eyes, take your mind back. It's October. We
Yeah.
get our Animal Crossing Direct, and they say we're doing Happy Home again. Are you like, oh fuck, or are you like, well, maybe they'll do it right this time?
Maybe they'll do it right this time.
Okay, so then do you think it deserves to stay on this list?
Yes.
Okay.
It hangs for now.
My heart will never be the same. It's
Yeah,
so
okay.
broken.
Yeah. Randy, talk about the Ascent.
Yeah.
All right, it
Okay,
stays.
yeah.
So
A
I can.
cyberpunk dual stick shooter with 4-player couch co-op, like that still hypes me on the like just on the surface. But the biggest issue here is just that it wasn't done,
Mhm.
and like that lack
Yeah.
of polish
But
like shows, and
as
there's
Sean-
numerous bugs and glitches.
As Sean
Yeah.
attested earlier, only for the co-op part, because Sean played it single player
I-
and it fucking worked.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna argue maybe not done would be, but it was broken.
Yeah, I mean
A
it's
major
still an
pull
audio
of
and
it.
frame rate hiccups, and like
That's
yeah,
fair.
But
So-
the
But
scripting and AI,
I definitely think a lot of pull for that game is, like you said, 4-player.
yeah.
Co-op, and I played it alone, so I was disappointed I didn't
Did
have
you
more
have the
people to play with.
pinpoints on the map kept disappearing and reappearing? Remember when that happened to us?
Yep.
We'd be like running all the way to one zone, and then it would be like bloop, and then you'd run over there, and then it would be like bloop, and appear back there. And we're like, what the fuck is going on?
If I did,
like,
there were so
Just piles on.
I vaguely remember something like that. So if it did happen, it happened not as often for me as I'm
Okay.
assuming it did for
I
you
mean,
guys.
we said this on a different episode, but the most egregious thing was the loss of Sav data, which didn't
yeah.
happen to you, but
Yeah,
that's the ultimate sin to me.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
still disappointed. You
Yeah,
blew, you
I
blew
mean,
this
it's-
thing up in my
It's
view.
slow.
Yeah,
Like incredibly, which I mean, it's a shame because like the action is fun, but the RPG elements like come off like a total grind,
So okay. So ready for this
and that
one.
pacing gets even worse when each member of your party has to separately interact with NPCs and merchants.
yeah.
Like it's
So-
contemporaries like the Scott Pilgrim and Diablo on consoles like already figured that out years ago.
Yeah.
So Randy.
Yeah.
Okay. This game, I think that it deserves. It is noteworthy for. I was also shocked by how horrible this co-op release was. So you got two categories: most disappointing and worst game.
It's
so,
disappointing. I don't think the game is bad enough to
I don't
be
think
worst
it's I don't
game.
think it's bad. And
I think.
But
you
I
should-
think we keep
world
it in.
is-
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think star it then.
Yeah.
the weapons seemed like they could get interesting. I don't
I
know,
got-
just slugging there just didn't imply that it was worth it.
I got two. I think we can cut.
One at a time.
One at a time. First one. Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Yeah, I didn't get to play this, but you guys did. So
I played it. No, I played it
no,
with Sean.
because I had to bounce out. I
Right.
ran around in the hub. That was the
the
most I
only
got to do.
me and Sean and Dave all agreed on this. The only disappointing part of that game, there is no reason why it is 3 people. It should be at least 4.
Yeah.
But the game itself is very fun. I think
I was
it's,
going to say, I have a friend who's been on it a lot.
Seems
yeah,
fine.
it's
So-
it does not deserve a place on here. It is actually really fun. Like I said, the only disappointing part is that they're limiting party size.
Yeah.
I guess if you went into this expecting much more, yeah,
Just
Yeah.
in general, it's a fun shooter.
Okay.
yeah, I
they
think
did-
it's fine.
They did well enough, especially with like the aesthetics of Alien. I think they did a really
Aliens.
with the aesthetics of Aliens. I think they did the best job anybody's ever done when it comes to games relating to the Aliens movie.
Yeah, not the Alien movie.
No, because that's Isolation.
Yeah.
But number 2, Mario Golf Super Rush.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a golf guy. Super Rush gave us a few select nights of enjoyment, but it
It was
didn't
fun.
seem to have the gumption to hang around.
No, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a Mario sports are losing their luster, I think, as they keep releasing
Yeah,
them.
there was a time
but
where they were
I think the gameplay
They
is fun.
I
an
didn't.
absolute joy.
I was interested in this. I didn't end up picking it up though, but I feel like they just keep overcomplicating the formula.
They
Yeah,
do.
that's
They
kinda
keep
what happened with
trying
the
to add
tennis,
and add and add. Everything needs to be new, fresh.
They
but no.
do, but it's
Yeah.
definitely wasn't. Whether my expectations were low or it was just I had fun, but it's not disappointing.
Yeah.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
Number 3, I don't know if we can cut, but let's do GTA Trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
okay. I wanted to discuss this because I wanted to shortlist this. I wanted to star this real bad because it was like a lot of these games, like Battlefield 2042. I think obviously it was a tire fire from the start, but at the same time, Battlefield 2042. Sorry, switch subjects. Battlefield 2042. Battlefield is a unique series in the fact that it's a AAA title, or a AAA series. It's very beloved, that has probably just as many shit show games in its catalog as it does good games that people like. You feel like you think Battlefield, and it's like,
You're talking about 1.5 Hardline.
and
all the recent
all
stuff.
and it's like, and you forget that it's just like, Battlefield 5.
I get what I know what you're getting at though, and that like GTA isn't.
But GTA is a hardcore, like everything
right.
they make is gold.
Well, before we get into the GTA conversation, then let me just say we can cut Battlefield. It's more a thing of like, I thought that EA had to, not even that they would, but that they had to make Battlefield 2042 better than 5 and 1.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And that's shocking. It's super disappointing, but I also am not a huge Battlefield fan, so I don't.
Battlefield meant something to me back in the day with 2-3 and like
Honestly,
2142.
After playing Call of Duty, I wanted Battlefield to be like a good Battlefield, a better Battlefield. And I thought that's what I wanted, but after, like you said, playing that 10-hour...
I just
I
can't...
was kind of jazzed for that Portal mode.
I can't... and that was the most fun part. I can't personally suss out in my head whether or not...
The novelty is just plain dry,
I just don't like Battlefield, or if it's a really bad game, or both. It's a little bit of both, but like, I've been disappointed in Battlefield for years, and it's just because I don't think they've evolved the formula in the correct ways, and this is more... My expectations weren't super high. They were higher than they've been in the past.
They're so good at editing trailers.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you see all the weather effects. And
my argument for cutting it is that we said when that trailer aired,
you're right,
the game's not going to be like that.
Yeah. It's like all these people running in and all the vehicles and the environmental destruction and everything.
You mean I can't ramp an ATV with C4 connected to it into a chopper and blow it up?
There's like a less than a fraction of a percent of a chance of that happening in the game itself.
You know what? You know where you can do that?
Where?
The winner of our next category.
What's that?
Halo.
I'm
just kidding. But
I mean, everyone is already well aware of my experience with 2042, but I
was going to say,
I finally got to try a couple matches on Austin's account.
And it was disappointing, but not this disappointing.
It was okay.
It wasn't GTA disappointing.
Speaking of GTA disappointing.
So, all right, at the risk of repeating everything said in Day 3's biggest disaster?
Yes.
I'm only going to get into the quality of the remaster itself. Obviously, the swap in art direction when switching over to the new engine makes the visuals look terrible, ruining not only the tone, but...
The AI thought that the lug nuts were donuts, dude.
I can't get it out of my head.
Because you pointed it out, Austin, the immersive feeling of like living in the 80s Miami or early 90s California, there's like a sheen, like they have kind of this...
They use the limitations of the PlayStation 2 really well, because there's like this haze to all of them.
Yeah.
And it's this like, no... In San Andreas, it's smog, but
that's appropriate.
Yeah. There's like this green, gross haze to GTA 3.
Yeah.
There's this pink neon haze to Vice City, and then there's this bright orange, smoggy haze to San Andreas.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much
of that identity
of the game's identity is built, the world's identity is built around that limitation of the PlayStation 2 until you completely remove it. And I'll just say, to end my piece on this thing, we can keep it on here.
I kind of want to discuss
how dare they do this to GTA?
Yeah. Totally.
I said that last week, but
it's insane.
Yeah.
I would like to keep this starred, and I'm probably gonna go to bat for this.
Yeah, me too. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, because we should say it runs insanely poor, which is wild considering how old these are.
Bro,
and this is regardless of setting or
platforms. How you gonna have a quality mode that can't even run at 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series X? How? Bro, how are you going to get the Switch version of a game from 2001 that runs worse than the PS2 version from 2001?
And you know what's funny? It's like this actually, like, it makes me happy that it's like I've always had, the PS2 copies of these games because I played them on the PS2 back in the day. And the fact that those copies are no longer available online, I'm like, shit, I'm sure glad I have those PS2 copies now.
Yeah, for real.
I have them on PS2. I bought them
if you missed out, go find a copy.
I bought I sent Randy.
Far less buggy.
I sent Randy a picture the day that trilogy came out, and I got to try San Andreas on Game Pass. Instead of buying the trilogy for $60, I went out and spent $20 each on the original Xbox versions of 3, Vice City, and San Andreas.
That was a wise investment.
But the most disappointing.
Oh god, Sorry, there's just more I keep thinking about. The AI upscaling, like you said, it also resulted in misspellings throughout the world, and the character models are mutated to unintentionally hilarious proportions.
All right. We could talk all day about how shitty this is. I think it stays. The last thing I'll say personally is the most disappointing part of this, other than shitting on the game in the way that the internet has been shitting on it since launch. There's a phenomena, and you guys know this, when you go back and play games from our teenage years.
Yeah.
And you go, was I stupid? Or was it great?
Was it great? Yeah.
And GTA is fucking great.
Yeah.
It has not aged
I know
particularly
they can come
well.
across dated by the standards of today, but it's
still fucking fun.
they're
And
monumentally important.
That's the most disappointing part, is that I was in denial for I played 5 hours of San Andreas.
Yeah.
And I was in denial those whole 5 hours because I was having fun, but I was actively fighting against the shitty art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to justify that in my head, the shitty performance, and trying to justify that in my head. It's just like, because the game is still fun. It's still one of the best games ever made.
GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a definitive edition should not have any missing content. Like the co-op in San Andreas gone, and assets have been altered to avoid controversy, all the songs missing.
Hey, they didn't take everything out. Still had hot coffee.
True.
Yeah, they didn't take the songs out. They just didn't let you listen to them.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I do think it's kind of funny that there was the same exact scandal.
You're a rock star. You can afford to re-up on.
There was the same scandal.
Right.
First time was hot coffee. It's like, we promised to take it out, and then they do the music. Yeah, we promised to take it out. Well, you didn't do it the first time, and you still didn't do it the second time. They did the same thing. I think that was on purpose. But let's move on.
Let's move on. Keep it on here.
Yeah.
Game Builder Garage.
Or as I call it, sucky dreams.
That's all it is.
This one is a bummer because their mission of making...
Wait, I love sucky dreams. What's wrong with sucky dreams?
I love when I wake up after a sucky dream.
You're going to need to expand.
You ready for this joke? We already talked about Little Nightmares.
Making a game centered around like programming, but have it be like cute and accessible. That's commendable. The problem is, unlike Mario Maker, is that you can't ever use the tools to create something that's actually fun for more than 5 minutes. The novelty is so aggressive, but that's all it is. Like Nintendoifying Super Hot or Hotline Miami is clever, except when you realize you'd just rather play those games proper.
My counter argument to this, I don't think it belongs here, and my counter argument to this
it's cheap. It's a budget thing, but
yeah, but the problem is that Dreams is robust.
Yeah, this is...
Dreams is this... Nobody ever try this again if you want to make a real one, because Dreams is as close as you're going to get without downloading the Unreal Engine or Unity.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane. However, Dreams is fucking hard to use because it's so robust.
Yeah.
And I think that Nintendo was going for introducing kids to the thought process.
They've included tutorials so that you can construct a deeper experience, but the end result is still confined to that weak engine.
But the question becomes, what is the intended purpose? Because I think the intended purpose of Dreams is the end result. I think the intended purpose of Game Builder Garage is the process.
Okay.
I don't think
that doesn't excuse the filtering of community uploads. That shit is wonky.
No. But I'm not arguing that it's good. I'm arguing that Nintendo tried to make something that kids can use, because kids cannot use Dreams. Trust me.
I don't even remember who it was, but I listened to someone talk about how their son was playing too much Minecraft, so they bought their son Dreams, and then after a while, his son just built Minecraft, but with guns.
Oh my god!
In Dreams,
they already got that in Minecraft.
Hell yeah, Minecraft, but with guns.
I never got the impression that anyone stuck with this thing long enough for those grander projects that were promised. I don't know.
I thought you were going to
say again.
Are you sensing a pattern, maybe,
yeah.
of Nintendo shitting out stuff and then nobody sticking with it?
Well, you go, oh, neat, and then poof, it permanently just leaves you.
Yeah, welcome to Nintendo past Mario and La Zelda.
La Zelda.
I
love La Zelda. I'm gonna make La Zelda for dinner
into
tonight.
the belief of this thing anyway. So yeah,
there's 3 on here that are gonna lead to a lot of discussion. So let's tackle the 2 quicker ones. Chelsea, tell me about Potion Craft. I played it, but
I just didn't like it.
I don't have a horse in that. But
I know some people did. It was.
I did not.
It was a big Twitch game for a little bit.
My argument is just that I felt the same way about Moonglow Bay, where I was just like, oh, neat. And then I tried it and it was very bad, but I don't
think
I had any expectations.
My issue was, So I don't even think I described how this game works, but it's basically it's all 2D. When you make the potions, it's a giant map, and you can't see very far. And every time you add an ingredient, it will make your little icon go in a certain direction. So basically, you want to just keep adding ingredients until you reach one of the points on the map that's like, this is a health potion, or this is a fire-resistant potion. And so there's like a million ways to get anywhere. You could keep like kind of circling back around, but every day you have like a little garden that you pick herbs from, and that's all you get. Like sometimes someone will come in to your shop and be like, I sell things, and you could buy more herbs off of them and shit like that. But it's just like every day it's the same thing. And then like you go to your store and someone will be like, I want a health potion, and you make them a health potion. Or they'll be like, I want a potion that you haven't even discovered yet. So like, good luck, I want this thing. And then you spend like 20 minutes trying to figure out how to make it.
The game does not guide you at all.
No, it doesn't guide you at all.
Potions.
You run out of herbs, and it's like, well, I guess I gotta shut down for the day because I couldn't even make the one thing this dude wanted.
Yeah, fresh out of potion stuff.
And then there's this weird...
Yeah, basically what it is. So I was just like, nah, fuck this.
And then there's like this weird barter system where someone's like, I'll give you 10 for that health potion. And you're like, how about 11? And they're like, I'm insulted. I'll give you 4, and you have to accept it. Or
What?
Yeah.
It's like you can haggle, but if you
haggle wrong, they go, no, fuck you. I give you shit.
Yeah.
Isn't there also like a little mini game where you have to hit the thing to barter better, and then you can actually get more?
Yeah, it's like a
over
match the green with the moving pointer thing.
They didn't have the rotating system from Oblivion where you have to like just keep repeating the conversation like a sociopath until you figure out exactly
which one's the right
until
one.
you figure out exactly how to flatter the fucker standing in front of you. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if I'd say it's the most disappointing. But I was disappointed.
Yeah, me too, but I don't know if it hangs with the rest of
I don't think it's GTA bad.
No.
Yeah.
It's not Animal Crossing bad.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's worse than Animal Crossing because I actually played a lot of the Animal Crossing.
So, Randy, let's talk about Hot Wheels Unleashed. This is a matter of our expectations were set appropriately because it's a fucking Hot Wheels game, and then everybody was like,
"This thing just depresses."
You know what? They knocked it out of the park. Actually, it's like Burnout.
Yeah.
If you're listening, anybody out there, if you're listening to me and you say from this point on, it's like Burnout,
it's like Burnout.
I'm gonna punch you.
It's like Burnout.
So as many people,
I know why you're doing
I've
this.
been anxiously awaiting the return of a dope arcade racer. My desperation, however, will not lead to me naming this as a good game. The controls are floaty, but not the word. It's just
the controls,
and it's fucked up with just how much they bury what's inside, like the earning of tracks.
Yeah, you have to.
And cars is a major pain.
You have to get loot boxes in order to get new cars.
Boxes?
No,
and this is only exacerbated with how fucking absurdly difficult, like the spikes and rubber banding with the AI.
The game has easy, medium,
it's flat
and
out
hard.
stupid how tough this thing is.
Easy is like trivial.
Yeah, you don't even see anyone.
You're
like by yourself,
you're like lapping people easily.
Yeah.
Medium, they're fucking throwing you off the road. They're drifting perfectly. You're lucky if you get like 10th place. Wow. And then hard is like, don't even fucking try it because they're all perfect. And it's
shouldn't the onboarding of a younger audience be the goal here?
It's insane for a kid's game that like respectable racers cheat for you.
Yeah.
And against you.
Yeah.
If you're doing too well.
One hiccup during a turn or a jump might as well be the absolute end of your race.
You fuck up a drift and hit the wall, you're 10th place and you're not getting
insane.
back.
I didn't even know this came out this year.
Yeah, but that being said, do you think it hangs? I don't.
No.
Because it's a Hot Wheels
just a
game.
slower and far less engaging F-Zero.
I'll just say this. If you
it's
think,
a misfire.
If you think that game is good, don't talk to me about it because you're wrong. Okay.
Just play the Arthur game.
There's devs loathe children.
The Arthur game is
the PS1 kart racer.
I thought it was Xbox.
No, it's PS1.
PS1, yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that one. The one where you go 1 mile an hour.
It is offensive, and what they hand you at the start is so content slim. Like it's
now
1 or 2 courses.
Now you got to buy the rest.
Dumb.
Now
oh, God.
We got 2 more that Randy's going to talk about for a while, and then we got to fight. So we'll save the fight for last.
Well, do you want to do Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
That's what I was
talk
gonna
about
say.
Nickelodeon,
You should
yeah.
break this one down.
So earlier when I said speaking of breaking hearts,
Yeah,
don't
this was primed to be a house pleaser.
don't do this to me. No fault to the studio because they've made Smash clones in the past and they're good for being on a shoestring budget. I'm gonna put all of the blame here on Nickelodeon
Hell yeah.
because you had the team. It is a
Right.
fun game.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Why didn't they like fund that more in
But
reaction to like
they were like shoestring budget, get it out in time. I don't
Yeah.
care. And this team
the amount of characters in mode, the absence of VO,
this team did their best.
awful music.
But yeah, they couldn't get any licensed Nickelodeon music.
Yeah.
They couldn't get
That's
any voice
fucking-
actors.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's almost like
No,
the
items.
company that were Nickelodeon, they were funding it. They were like, make us a TV show, well, a video game.
Mhm.
But all they could do was like make a puppet show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
essentially
And
like the best way I could
it's such
describe
a
it.
shame because the game plays well.
Yes,
It has
the
found
founding,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the blueprints.
The thing,
it's just,
the thing that
needs more
every
charm and flavor.
the thing that every one of these platform fighters that's trying to clone Smash is missing is the roster, the familiarity of the characters.
Yeah.
And I can only think of two companies that could. I can only think of three companies that could do a Smash clone and have the roster to compete with Smash, even a little bit, because Nintendo's got that in the bag. And
yeah.
it's
It makes you appreciate and love the hard work that
it's
goes into
Sony
Smash even
who-
more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I already fucked that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say they fucked that.
Yeah. It's Warner Brothers, which we'll
We'll see.
see,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
and it's
The systems are
Nickelodeon.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has good bones. You're right.
And it's like I don't know who at
Got great
Nickelodeon.
bones.
Yeah, I don't know who at Nickelodeon made this decision.
I love
But-
it, skeleton.
Please stop.
They could have had such a better return on this if they had just put in the money and the
Yeah.
effort, because
You need
People
good
were-
feedback on the impact.
people were hype
Those
about
wings.
this, and you
Yeah.
can, if you track back like some Let's Plays or Twitch streams of this game, you can see in real time people's hearts breaking.
It's got like
Yeah.
People
wave
are-
dashing and shit
Yeah,
in it.
people are fighting against this. They're like, no, it's Melee with SpongeBob. It has to be good, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's not, dude, and it's so disappointing.
I hope they
Hey,
weren't
they
planning.
added Garfield to the roster.
They did, and
Brussie?
I played as
So
him.
I hope they
What?
weren't
I
planning
played
on.
as him. He throws lasagna at people.
I hope
playing
they
its
weren't.
favor, I
The
guess.
long game plan for them was like, yeah, just get this thing out. And we'll like add a bunch of stuff later.
Yeah,
because it's
like
so
a platform.
it's so hard to pull people back in once you've given them
Once you
like
fucked up.
yeah,
Yeah.
once you
I'm-
just
Yeah.
give
I'm
I was
them
gonna say, do you think one day it'll get to where it needs to be? But
They're trying,
It's
dude.
too late.
Yeah, it is.
I
I'm
do
in the
agree.
Discord for this game because I joined it.
they're good emojis in there.
I joined. There are. You can tell the developers are struggling to be
Oh.
like, listen, we hear you. We're doing our best.
Sorry.
And it's very, yeah.
That's
it's-
sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
gotta,
but I think it hangs for now.
I
We'll
gotta-
get to the cuts of the harder stuff later. Okay.
all right.
Now, everybody
Rant time.
I heard you guys
Stretch.
were gonna fight.
get ready for a nap. Randy, why don't you tell us all about Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually.
All
am
right,
gonna
hit the
take a nap.
clock.
Yep. Go ahead.
Ding ding.
Banana Mania, without hyperbole, is the shittiest remaster I have ever seen, including the GTA trilogy. And I'm speaking as an authority figure on this. I fucking adore Monkey Ball. Those two GameCube releases. Moi. So where do I kick this off? It looks and runs worse than the originals from 20 fucking years ago. Co-op is no longer a feature. None of the extra characters they showed in the bundles can be used in multiplayer, period. The physics are off, wrecking even just the fucking foundation of the whole thing. Fundamentally, the right stick now controls the camera rather than it simply like tracking you.
And they have a setting where it can track you, and it's really bad at it.
Yeah.
Are
Which
you
made
sure?
these games fucking rule with how you could play them entirely by just a single
Oh,
joystick.
I do have a question. Are you sure the physics are actually off and you're not just bad at the
No,
game?
they are.
They are. You can look up speedrunners that are way better than me.
I watched a video of a speedrunner because they didn't change any of the levels at all.
Okay.
And there are levels where you're just going downhill and there are like dips in the thing.
Yeah.
And like speedrunners, there are speedrunners where like if you hit the dip correctly, you'll bounce over the whole hill and go to the goal. and they overshoot it because the physics are off. There are ones where they'll go down a hill and literally bank off of a building in the background and then land on the goal, and it doesn't work anymore. They overshoot it. And
the single joystick, like our friend and former guest Andrew, when he was younger, he was able to finish them with a broken arm. Yeah, that's great. But the overall presentation stinks.
Suck it, Andrew. Don't break your arm again.
The new announcer sucks. The remixed music is bad. With the OG tunes, they're locked away.
I was gonna say, in order to get the original music, you got to buy the deluxe edition.
The loads are long. Like they were practically instant before. Something you damn well need in this.
You played it on Switch.
I did. Which on that it hitched as well. There's screen tearing. Mm-hmm. The sparkling effects are gone. Like the monkeys don't twirl around in the balls anymore. Like,
oh yeah, the monkeys stay stationary.
The menus are a bitch to navigate.
And let me say it.
The modern font choice is lame.
They ruined Monkey Target.
Yeah, they did. The Monkey fucking Target, which was like the best part of the franchise, is utterly broken.
Yep.
The physics make it work. You can't roll off the hill successfully. All four of us, when we played it, and you're just like you just go down and stop.
It's bad.
Yeah, it is. There's sound effects missing. I'm seriously in awe. Like I can't even. It can't maintain a steady.
So let's just cut it there.
What hardware generations ago kept a silky 60 without drops.
Let's cut it there and say it stays.
Yeah.
Let's get to our final discussion.
Yeah.
Back for Blood.
Wait.
I don't hate it.
Final discussion.
No, it's good. And I don't know why it's on this list.
We didn't talk about 12 minutes yet.
Oh, yeah. We'll save that for last.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's easy and all of us being
we've talked enough about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
We can discuss it a little bit more after this.
Is it time for an argument?
It is. I already cracked my knuckles.
Okay, so I should clarify. I don't hate Back for Blood, and I will likely play much more of it. And I acknowledge that patches did fix a handful of my criticisms. That being said, the game is too hard, and it is too dark. Obscuring so much the environment constantly. I find the enemy designs, they're too similar, making it tough to tell what's approaching, in my opinion. And it also can't resist having a calm moment ever. Like the AI director in Left 4 Dead and World War Z is like very good at pacing out the instances of action and like resupplying for fights. And in this, you can like barely explore or get ready for survival waves when hordes won't just stop fucking attacking. Like it's the placement of the special zombies in those other games were like designed so that your team wouldn't spread far apart. Now it's like you break a door down and 3 of the same type of bullet spongy boss are just like standing there. I don't know. The objectives aren't varied enough, and you're spending like the spending of your currency in between rounds is all over the place. Considering like what's lying about the levels, like you can't remove or take attachments with you. Instead, you're reduced to like reading tiny numbers of what gun will do more damage. I don't know.
So, I agree with you that the pacing is very hectic.
Yeah, that's your most valid complaint there, I think.
I did notice that because I always play as the like punk rock chick who gets the extra like tools so she can open those doors. We never get to use it because it's like constantly, sometimes it's the people I'm playing with running ahead because they're like so anxious about hordes coming where they're like, no, we don't have time to stop. And like sometimes it's when you do stop, you do get overwhelmed. And I'm not saying this as a bit or as a joke, and I have died a couple times playing that game. I haven't found it to be too difficult. I know they've changed it.
They've patched it a lot.
But that should count.
Yeah.
I know like the special infected thing, they fucked up and they had to change. They admitted that was a mistake.
Yeah, which I don't know how that happens, but
they said that it just wasn't running properly. It shouldn't have spawned that many. Yeah. And so they tried to fix it. But like I don't think the game is too dark either. I have not had that issue.
Oh, that game is... I've played it now on...
You gotta bump that gamma up, bro.
I played it on...
I don't know if
my television and the projector, and it is like... every level's like at night, and then practically every other card is like, now it's foggy, and now it's raining, and I'm just like, fuck, I feel like I'm watching Alien vs. Predator 2.
Let me just say, your complaints are all valid. Some of them are a little nitpicky, even though I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Like, the attachment thing is annoying as shit, but that's a very small part.
Yeah.
The pacing thing, like Chelsea said, 100% agree. I hear that they've made it better.
Yeah.
But I agree with you from the time we played. You are comparing this to, rightfully so, to its derivatives, or to what it is.
Its contemporaries.
It's a derivative of those, which are all derivatives of Left 4 Dead made by the same team. I think that I personally, my thing is that
at its core, it's still really fun.
I think it's still a really fun game. I think that like it's got some stiff competition now. I think a lot of people are trying this, and I think most of them are going to fail way harder than Turtle Rock does.
Yeah, I mean, you just played Anacrusis. Like,
it's garbage trash.
I had friends kind of say the same thing where they were like, it's fun when you play it once, but after that, I'd rather just play Left 4 Dead. And I was like, but I'd rather play
something new.
I'd rather play Back 4 Blood because I've played Left 4 Dead a million times. I've done all those levels a million times.
Well,
I can't imagine someone being like, even though I sunk 400 hours into Left 4 Dead, I'm only going to play Back 4 Blood once because after that, it's too repetitive for me.
I'm not a big fan of, and that's the point. Yeah, like it's like, I'm not a big fan of the structure of how your run save. Like, we ended up going through the first act like a dozen times before I saw anything new. And there's a pretty bulk, like, there's a hand, like, of levels that we have not even.
Yeah, but that's because
new people were jumping in, and it's
yeah.
And like I was explaining to you, I played the single player, terrible experience, but
with AI,
right? Exactly, and the AI is fucking busted.
But my argument for that is Left 4 Dead had bad single player as well.
No,
it wasn't. Yeah,
that's not even my gripe.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, my argument is against it because I want to see more of it. I feel like I don't have enough within the first act to even.
What I'm trying to say is you're comparing this to GTFO, you're comparing this to World War Z, and those are separate arguments for separate days as to which one is better, but I think that without argument, Back 4 Blood does hold its own against those contemporaries somewhat, I think, at least.
Another and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts on this. Unlocking shit is monstrously confusing. To the degree that me and Dave had to like research online how the challenges get you skins. And even then, we were left without solid answers.
I do not think that Back 4 Blood. I see the disappointment of Left 4 Dead fans. I don't understand
it. They're not like hot on the supply line stuff.
Sure,
I'm okay with that.
But here's my argument.
I don't think it should be on this list.
Yeah, here's my argument to you, Left 4 Dead fans out there. Don't bite the hand that feeds, because Left 4 Dead ain't coming back. It's like if you're
you can't recapture that.
If
you're
a
spirit of Left 4 Dead.
It's like if you're a Portal fan. Portal ain't coming back. Enjoy what you got when you got it.
I find the wrappings and usually obtuse.
Sure.
I don't know.
I still think that the game is fun, and I still think that in a way Turtle Rock still got it. And I think that time, and I will be prepared to eat my words on this, but I think time will do that game some justice because we have like 800 Left 4 Dead likes coming in the next couple of years. And I think that will shake out.
All Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, I think that will shake out to prove that Back 4 Blood is more of a faithful recreation than people give it credit for.
Yeah. I think they tried to modernize Left 4 Dead.
They tried to modernize it.
And I think they did a decent job at that.
Hey, they also are owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is notoriously shitty when it comes to their ways to keep you playing and their ways to keep you playing.
I played Left 4 Dead recently.
Find a lot of that stuff in this game intrusive. Like I don't know if there were
I'm talking about the
like,
unlock system with the challenges that you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's cosmetic. I mean, like
sure,
packs
but that's
you get quickly. Like money is
that's like Tony Hawk though. Remember when Tony Hawk was like, "Hey, you want the tape? Get every challenge." And you're like,
"Oh yeah,
I'm not a god, dude.
Yeah,
just let me get the
some
tape."
of those challenges are kind of crazy. But
I think from a gameplay perspective, I think it's still Left 4 Dead, and I think it's
and to your point, the more shit that's at the bottom of the stack, the higher the top of the stack raises up. So there's definitely
I've played Left 4 Dead recently, and this is better. Like it's hard to get back into Left 4 Dead.
It should be after all these many years.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's hard to play Left 4 Dead. You can't aim down sights in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it's great.
Because the Source engine is
great.
I love it.
There's only one good Source engine game. It's Titanfall.
Titanfall
1.
You can't have more than like 30 zombies on this screen in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
Did you know that only 30 of them
load? Yeah, it came out in 2008.
People want to go back to that, and it's like, no, it's not as good as you remember.
Well,
it was a great game for the time. I think Back 4 Blood's better.
I think Back for Blood
don't-
in most aspects is a good modernization, and in some aspects is a bad modernization.
Yeah.
But I think that it overall is a good modernization
Yes.
of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, well said.
I mean, it's obviously nothing's going to recreate the cultural and social touchstone that Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 did. And I'm aware of that. I'm not, like, I think, I don't know. I was expecting, I think,
I have not played Left 4 Dead in a while.
it practically created a genre, like
You
it's,
go back and play Payday. Remember when we did that? God, that game sucks.
I don't mind Payday.
Ugh. It's
Yeah.
so obtuse. And
I thought you guys liked Payday.
I liked Payday.
1 or 2?
2.
Oh,
Oh,
two.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
One's a
Two-
mod, right?
Woof.
2 is so obtuse and like,
All right.
Okay.
I'll let this go, but I'm saying that a game can be good and simultaneously disappointing. I feel like we're not.
I'm not
Yeah, but
arguing.
I don't
on the
I'm
same
find
not,
it
page.
I'm not arguing
disappointing.
against you that it's bad. I'm saying I don't find it disappointing.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
actually
If it
really
wasn't for
enjoyed
these
it.
suck-ass remasters, that'd be my most disappointing game of the year.
So I was gonna say
That's
it's like
fair, but
I think the problem is not that. I think that I looked at this list and it's just like there are too many top contenders for most disappointing on this
Yeah.
list. It's like we gotta pare it down to
I just wanted to get
the
it out there.
worst. Yeah.
And also, a lot of our feelings of this game are affected by it being a Game Pass,
Yeah.
like
which it won.
which it won, and
Yeah.
deservingly so.
Yeah.
Maybe like I don't know, people might be approaching it from a different place if they paid $60, but that was a
Okay.
awesome move on their part.
Yep.
12 minutes.
Let's get into the last one. We have talked about this enough. This stays.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad.
We all thought it was going to be good, and boy, is it shitty. It is.
Yeah, you know what? I take it back about Back 4 Blood. This might be my top choice.
I was going to say, when you said that,
I kind of forgot, but 12 minutes is also in a different category that I would never put Back 4 Blood in.
that's what I was going to say. Of all the games we have currently left on our list, 12 minutes is a front-running contender. In my head, not speaking for you guys, for worst game.
Yeah.
No, I think that.
Well,
might
we'll
be
get
a
to that
tad
discussion.
extreme.
Yeah.
But it certainly holds its own on that list. And I think that when you're talking about expectation versus reality, when you talk about the first time we
Amorphous
saw
has been following this for like.
when you talk about the first time we saw a trailer for 12 minutes versus
for
our
years.
discussion afterwards, this is a top contender for this category,
Yeah.
without question. We've discussed it enough.
Well, I kind of want to just slightly, if this has the like potential of winning, I think it needs just an examination, even if we keep it short. I mean, there was this was more or less crafted by a single person. I forget his name, Luis something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Luis something.
It showed off great at PAX. Like I'm still into the concept when you hear it, and as we stated, it was picked up by Annapurna, which is
Who
known
has a
for
good
their
track record.
prestige of the indie, yeah. And then they re-announced this game, casting it with like celebrities to voice the three characters, and they're by all accounts like great actors. They're not good in the game, but
One might say nothing is good in the game.
and it's what's funny about this thing is that it actually starts off great. Like, it is intriguing. Like, I know we dug into the time loop stuff in your category, but it just descends so quickly into being just frustrating strings of just just trial and error, and your options are extremely restrictive.
Frustrating from every aspect.
Yeah.
Frustrating from a gameplay perspective,
Narratively.
frustrating from a narrative
Yeah.
perspective,
Absolutely.
frustrating from a
Tedious.
production perspective. It's just overall frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same dialogue.
If I had to comment one thing on this is the fact that after we played it, I went back and watched the trailer for it that got you excited. And I
Yeah.
watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this seems like it could have been like they had so much more in mind, so much more freedom compared to what we just played. It's like the trailer is better than the game.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I watched a demo from a PAX like 3 years before the game
Yeah.
came
Oh,
out,
that's
before they
interesting.
added the voice actors, and there was more to it. He cut a lot of it out.
I was
Damn.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, no,
Huh.
he started out good, and it seems like he pared it down to, particularly, it seems like he wanted to tell only one story, whereas a time loop game with freedom supposed to tell many
a lot of
stories.
stories.
And
yeah.
it's like you clearly
That's a
thought
good
that
point.
you clearly thought the story that you wanted to tell was going to be better than the story that the player was going to play, and so just bad.
And
let me tell you, that story is not good.
No,
it is.
On the Game Awards, I said it was a failed attempt at a Kubrick or a Hitchcock, but he ended up being a Shyamalan.
Yeah.
The splash art literally looks like the Vertigo poster.
Yep.
Yeah. And the carpet, it has the Shining carpet.
It's directly referencing Vertigo and Shining.
It was a contrived story by far. That ending was just it was laughably bad.
Twist.
It was bad.
All right.
Yeah. We're now in deliberations.
Because I think we should deliberate.
I think it's time to
I
deliberate.
think it's time to
Because
pick.
12 minutes is absolutely a contender for sure.
Yeah, I know my two. I can go first.
Yeah.
GTA 12 minutes.
Okay.
Not in that order, just those games.
Yeah.
I think maybe 12 minutes first, then GTA.
Wow.
I'm going to say 12 minutes and WarioWare are my two.
I'm going to go for GTA. And, I mean, I was kind of going to go up to bat for Monkey Ball, actually, because that sounded like, and trust
Dole
me.
should be proud that their brand is no longer associated.
I mean.
Yeah.
Dole, never done anything wrong.
Listen.
Dole knows three things: how to genetically modify bananas, how to take over third world countries, and how to get out when the getting's good.
That's actually funny because I recently watched a YouTube video about Banana Republics and remember Dole is one of the people who set up one of those Banana Republics. Yeah, I don't remember which one.
the store, the clothing store?
No, that was Old Navy.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, the Gap.
So let's work this out just a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Sean has his two, and did you give your two?
I did not,
No.
but that's
okay.
Yeah.
You got two?
Yeah. 12 minutes, Biomutant, but
Biomutant's my third. So yeah.
All right. Well, real quick, Call of Duty Vanguard can go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you think it's safe to say, Chelsea, that
Animal Crossing can go?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do some house cleaning.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think
Nickelodeon All Star.
I think that can go. Yep.
I was actually, what's funny is I was going to go up to bat for that one, but I think it's like, ready? Like I said, there's a lot to choose from, but it's like fifth on my list at this point. So it's like, okay, we can cut that.
A lot of disappointing shit.
And The Ascent.
I was going to say, if we're cutting Nickelodeon, I also want to cut The Ascent.
I think
that's fair.
Disappointed. See, the problem with this, it's not disappointing. I thought that was just a bad game. That's, I think, the problem with The Ascent.
I don't know. Yeah, there's like Nickelodeon. The last thing I'll say about that is just like, I was more just bummed.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah,
like,
really.
I didn't really expect it to blow me away in the way like Smash Ultimate does, but like
no, I don't think
I was
that
really bummed. I'm especially bummed for that studio because they put their heart and soul into it. But
yeah, they were definitely trying to appeal to the Melee crowd.
Yeah,
and it definitely did, but it was pretty lackluster for long term. Absolutely.
Right.
So it's funny. As much as I want to say my two are GTA and Monkey Ball, I would almost rather I'd rather squeeze them into a worse game.
A worse game.
Man, yeah, WarioWare. Not since like Tony Hawk HD have I seen developers completely misunderstand their own products.
And they're a good studio too. It's the Yakuza guys.
Is it really?
That did that remaster, yeah.
I don't think 12 Minutes deserves a worst game. I think it deserves a
exactly.
game.
That's yeah.
Well, we'll get to that fight later.
There's stuff about 12 Minutes I still like. I love the small scale of it, and the top down perspective is unique, and that it's essentially like 3 rooms.
Not that you're looking at it, but I think considering that we're the only two that played Biomutant, it's safe to say that there's much more compelling arguments and things that resonate
I'm
much
okay
more.
with Biomutant being top 5.
Yeah.
We can cut Biomutant. It's not good. And it's a shame.
And I have all the rest of you to base my choice on.
Mm-hmm.
I think from like a surface level perspective with GTA, having not had that kinship with the franchise and series, this still looks like a big flop, but Randy's impassioned argument for Monkey Ball, I think ranks it slightly higher for me.
I'm not going to let him get away with this.
I mean, so here's the next
physics
they
are
got
fucked
away
up.
with it. The physics.
I'm sorry, the physics are fucked up. That game is all physics. You fuck that up, you don't like. That's a sin.
Okay, ready? Now that I think about it, okay, I think 12 Minutes. I don't think it's a worse game, but I think it deserves a disappointing nomination.
Who is opposed to 12 minutes being in the one of the two? Anybody?
I'm not. Can I?
I think it deserves.
I think it's kind of the definition.
I
of
think
it's the definition. My whole thing is I don't want. There's an arbitrary rule I'm setting. I don't want 2 remasters. I want a game. Is that what you were saying?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I want a game and a remaster if we're going to do a remaster. So I say 12 minutes. I say I'm okay with WarioWare going top 4. I say we do 12 minutes and then one of the 2 remasters. And we can
I'll go for it.
I was going to just argue, not, again, arbitrary
rule.
Is
Biomutant gone?
Yes.
Yeah, I cut Biomutant.
Right.
I was going to argue that because Super Monkey Ball has the older, it's a remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Since it has the original game that you can play and capture all that, it does suck that the remake sucked, but you can always go back and play that one.
I mean,
even though
GTA is the same. Well, they did try and stop people from doing that.
Right, they did, which they immediately went back on.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to sway anybody here, but WarioWare being a continuation of the series and then falling flat seems more impactful than remakes or definitive editions
that's
coming out.
People hold the GTA games obviously in a higher regard. They're not as niche as Monkey Ball.
Right.
But it's like, I think that the Monkey Ball remaster is worse. Like the GTA at least tried to update and modernize like the driving and shooting and stuff. They included like mission checkpoints, but
here's my argument.
You can't blame Monkey Ball on robots either.
You can fuck up. You can get an AI to fuck up the environment. You can fuck up the textures. You can fuck up the character models. You can fuck up the performance.
Silent Hill HD the Fog.
But GTA is still GTA.
Yeah.
It's mostly a port, and it's missing a lot of features, and it's really stupid. Monkey Ball is their attempt to revitalize Monkey Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they say something along the
GTA
lines
Trilogy's
of
not going to
like,
influence 6 in any way.
hey, we're going to remaster these games, and if
Yes.
they do well, we'll make another one, but if you don't buy it, fuck you, we're not making the new one.
That is kind of...
For Monkey Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then that's a little
that's
something.
their way
That's
of-
a little
They're
extra.
gauging like the...
They held their fans
atmosphere.
hostage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's so fucked.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Whenever games do that, I'm like, I hope this
I
fails.
mean, my only hope with either of these is that it isn't someone's first experience, like...
Oh, it for
with
sure
this
was.
franchise.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was.
So
It was a bunch
that's-
of kids first.
That's the other
It's
half.
GTA especially.
Hold on, that's the other half.
Digging
You
up old
have
consoles.
you have the
Yeah,
two
after
sides.
5.
You have the 2 sides of the coin, which is that GTA, the trilogy, the definitive edition HD remaster collection, or whatever the fuck it's called.
EX Plus Alpha.
This exists for one reason, right? And that is GTA 5 is the biggest game on the planet without question.
Mhm.
And if you are new to GTA through 5, here's our old ones. And that's fucking disappointing. Because if
Yeah.
somebody experiences 3 Vice City or San Andreas in this way for the first
Yeah,
time,
you'd be like, this series was
you're
ass
100%
before.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monkey Ball, on the other hand, has not been good. Since
No,
2005,
yeah,
when
so-
Deluxe came out?
And Adventures and the
Adventures,
Wii,
the
whatever.
Wii shit and Banana Blitz and
Yeah.
the fucking mobile phone ones. So this is like them being like, we understand we fucked up Monkey Ball for the past decade plus.
Yeah.
Here's the ones you guys love. And if you have never experienced Monkey Ball in the original way, here it is. And if that's somebody's first Monkey Ball thing, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
But they're disappointing in 2
wild that this
separate ways.
Keeps happening.
So, okay, ready?
I'm really torn between one of these 2 remasters.
Okay, ready? Okay, here's the logic I'm going by.
Okay.
I think that of the 2 games left, Monkey Ball and GTA Trilogy Remasters, I think one or both of them would definitely make my short list of worst game of the year. Which one is more deserving of worst game of the year, and the other one's disappointing?
He might be onto something.
Here's
Yeah.
my argument. I say Monkey Ball goes for worst.
I think Monkey Ball goes for worst as well.
And here's why. Because Sega sucks. And like
And they
do-
held their fans hostage
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that
You're
fucking
right.
release.
They
Yeah.
do one thing and they do one thing well. And it's Yakuza. And this is the Yakuza guys,
Yeah.
which by the way are old Amusement Vision guys. So it's some of the same people. But
Also, it doesn't have Dole in it anymore.
yeah, good. We don't need genociders on our team.
I'm really trying to think of a joke to
Maybe,
connect
yeah.
Yakuza to Super Monkey Ball, and
The
nothing. Literally nothing is coming to mind.
Kiryu's in the
Yeah.
remaster. But
That's a sick joke.
this, I say GTA goes for disappointing because it's fucking Rockstar.
You're right.
Yeah.
And their
Yeah.
last release was Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
give it to GTA.
Yeah,
Because
and you-
Rockstar-
When you say that,
Yeah.
You
go
think
for
about-
Red Dead 2.
You think about, we were like,
They should feel embarrassed to have.
they're like,
their
why are they remastering GTA? And then
fucking
you see
logo
that
on this
trailer,
thing.
you see
I don't
that
know.
trailer, and you just go, you know what? Maybe it is kind of cool. I mean, it is Rockstar. And then it comes out, and you're like,
the fuck out?
the fuck
I
have
don't
you?
know.
All
I don't
right.
know.
I
Rockstar
can
seemed
get
pretty
down with that.
keen on blaming
And
the
bump-
devs and the broken robot.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, poor Grove
It's
Street
not
Games.
us, guys.
They-
We fucking swear.
All right, we'll bump Monkey Ball for now.
Yeah. I think
12
that's
minutes
it.
in GTA.
Yeah, 12
My
minutes in
two
GTA.
picks.
Yeah.
And it's,
Hell
and
yeah.
it's
Actually,
funny
I think
because,
I was going to go with you, but I wanted to go up to bat for Monkey Ball too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
like, why? I mean, when you mentioned the Rockstar thing, that kind of sealed it for me because, as far as I know, this is the first not only the first Grand Theft Auto game, but it might be the first Rockstar game that has ever scored this low
Yes.
Yeah.
on like any.
And also, it's just
Aggregate.
like, listen, for GTA Trilogy, it's like, I can't speak to it.
That's
I can't
unprecedented.
speak to it as a bad game because I never played it, but just knowing what about, I can speak to it that it's like, wow,
check it out
that is a
sometime,
fucking
man.
letdown.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
See,
It's
that's-
still
yeah.
GTA.
It's still
It's
GTA.
just
It's just
you are actively fighting against every change they made to play the old GTA games, and that's why
Right.
I think it
And-
deserves.
and I
to be
think
here
12
I
more.
mean,
minutes, like-
I love salad
No, I really
fingers, so I love all characters to have those proportions when I play any video game.
All right.
When they
so-
said you a busta, CJ, this isn't
Oh.
what they meant.
I will,
He's
I will-
smiling. For
I will finally say too. Okay, I know you guys were disappointed by WarioWare. I had a good time with it. Just saying my piece.
We're cutting it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
12 minutes in
Yeah.
GTA.
I just wanted to.
I'm fine with
I
those.
wanted to. I
Yeah,
wanted
okay.
to.
and now 12 minutes wins.
I think
Oh.
12 minutes
by
wins.
far.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shall be final. The biggest disappointment of 2021 is 12 minutes. With our runner-up, what's the full
GTA
Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy Definitive Edition?
Grand Theft Auto
God.
The Trilogy Definitive
Whatever
Edition.
the
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
GTA, we fucked it.
GTA
Give us-
LOL, you idiots will buy anything.
God damn it, that was gonna be my joke.
So now let's flip it upside down. Biggest surprise. So back to the positives again, or as Matt, you've pointed out that it's, or Austin, it was
Most
maybe
pleasant.
pleasantly
yeah.
surprised.
Surprisingly
Or best
good.
surprise,
Yeah, most pleasant surprise, I would say. Yes.
Currently, we have whittled it down to Marvel's The Guardians of the Galaxy, Knockout City, The Artful Escape, Riders Republic, The Forgotten City, No More Heroes 3, Halo Infinite, It Takes Two, Pac-Man 99, Returnal, Death's Door, Psychonauts 2, Life is Strange True Colors, Unpacking, Metroid Dread, the Blizzard Arcade Collection, Guilty Gear Strive, Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Valheim, Cruelty Squad, and Chorus.
You said you were going to start with Cruelty Squad?
Yeah, just because I keep making it my mission to actually dig into this, and I just have not had the chance to. So unfortunately, for that alone, it can't really be included past this. But it's fucking bonkers, and I'm still sort of flabbergasted that it got made outside of it just being some creative person's deranged, twisted thoughts. Like, FPSs don't look like this, and shooters don't sound like this. For that, I commend them.
I got a quick cut.
Yeah.
Artful Escape, I was pleasantly surprised by how good the writing gets towards the end, but I didn't love it, and my expectations were kind of nothing. So, yeah, we can cut it.
Yeah,
It-
I'm
it-
right there with you.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised by how much the shitty hair metal shit didn't actually play a huge part in the story, but that's about it.
Yep.
I'm gonna cut one of mine.
Okay.
Pac-Man 99. That's less about expectation versus end result.
More about you being surprised that it exists.
Yes, the surprise was that it suddenly dropped without warning. The
Yeah.
folks behind Tetris 99 and Mario 35,
Rip. Never
Yeah,
forget.
seriously.
Hashtag never forget.
And it's funny
That's
because
what that's
they were still updating
Yeah.
99. They still are.
Mario
So
9/11.
What was that?
Hashtag
You wanna say
never
it again?
forget.
What?
But this
Hashtag
one-
never forget.
this was something that I don't think anyone saw coming, and it may not have had the power to stick around the way 99 did, but it was a much appreciated gesture to remain subscribed to Nintendo's online service, especially after the the N64 stuff and
I got
the rest of their output this year. If only they did these more often. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I got another easy cut.
All right.
Guilty Gear Strive.
Mm.
It's great. Great
A
game.
revered entry in a revered series.
Really good. Arxis rules though.
Probably the fighting
And,
game
like,
for many enthusiasts.
The worries around that game were more with the online play not
Yeah,
being
that was
good
the scuttlebutt prior
and
to
stuff
its
about the
debut.
lobby, but I don't know. I know I'm probably the one with the most experience in Guilty Gear Strive in this room. I don't think I doubted
People were
that
that
game
cautious,
being
yeah.
good. I mean, it's fucking Arxis. Dragon Ball Fighters was great.
Of course.
From what I understand, Grand Blue Fantasy also great.
They don't miss.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the gear so guilty in Guilty Gear? Where is the guilt? What's that about?
Wait,
Heaven-
wasn't it Bill Clinton in that video that was posted?
Kill
right
your
just-
friends,
with-
guilt free.
Yeah, kill your friends guilt free.
This
that's
has
it.
something to do with hell and demons.
Okay. Yeah.
Heaven or hell.
Plus, as Bill Clinton pointed out
Yeah.
in the ad, it says "kill your friends guilt free."
Wow.
Um,
Literally
if,
killed him.
listen, if Bill says it, then gotta trust him.
He's
no.
not one to lie. That Bill Clinton.
Well, I was gonna say, hell, an entire court said he was not guilty. So
Yeah.
it's,
I know.
Convincing.
yeah.
Most trustworthy people I know: Bill Clinton, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Chorus I can cut. Go back and listen to
Yeah.
my take on Game We Needed.
Yep.
It's pretty killer. Finally got the arcade space shooter I've been yelling at for forever, but check it
All right.
out if you're itching for one of those.
We've
like I
been
was.
talking a lot, so let's go to Matt.
Yeah. So
Valheim.
Time.
you know what?
Valentine.
Valheim. Okay, so
Valheim.
I'm not quite sure what to say. I think it hit me pretty hard, and I wound
How
up
did you
loving
find
it.
out about it?
Were
Were other people playing it, or did you online?
I don't. You know, I never talked to you about that.
No.
I just had a random night free. One.
Browsing through the Steam top
No,
100?
no,
I was
was
on
like
Pornhub and I saw an ad.
No. It was like a night in January or February or somewhere around there, and I just hopped on Discord, and
Everyone was like,
no, K, Dave, and Brett were just playing Valheim, and I was like, I don't see them online a lot on Discord, because I was working late at that point, and they were usually off, and I was like, what are you guys playing? And they're like, Valheim. It's like, I think it was like, if early release, it was like free or something. I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll download it. It was like $20. And that's how we wound up getting sucked in, and then eventually pretty much taking over their game. It was me, Dan, a lot of us wanted, and then Chris joined us too, and me and him built a base, and we had a good time with it, and it was fun. It's hard to define it as pleasantly surprising because I don't know if I
did
went.
it kind of come out of nowhere?
Yeah, for sure.
So
That is-
I would categorize that as
Yeah.
surprising.
I would say it is because that's usually the kind of game that
kinda
I
comes-
play
that-
and no one wants to play with me.
It also is the kind of game that kind of comes and goes.
and a lot of our
Like a
friends
fad.
played it
Yeah.
and
You know what?
stayed on it for a little bit.
I think in
Mhm.
that respect too, it's like that is a game that I typically tend to avoid, which is
Yeah.
crafting and
the kind
and-
of game that I love that nobody ever wants to play with me in.
right, and the type of game that I tend to avoid and wound up sinking that many hours into
Yeah.
it anyway. So by that definition, I would
Which
put it on the
ironically,
short
this
list.
is the one where I was like, I'm not fucking buying it because everyone's going to be done in 2 weeks, so I'm not doing it. And that was the one everyone stuck with for a while.
Yeah.
I'm so butthurt about that.
Do you ever think maybe there's a common denominator in this whole equation?
Vikings and lack thereof in other games.
Do you think it stays for now, or like do we want to come back to it later? Or do you
I think
it's
start
It
and come
stays
back
for
to
now.
it.
Yeah.
I think that is a good nomination. I think if we're talking things to eliminate right now, okay, and I feel like this is going to be again more of an argument, but Metroid Dread is on this list. Okay, so I presume for me, it was neither a disappointment nor a surprise. I hear Metroid.
I'll
bought
agree
it.
with that.
Got what you wanted?
I bought it. I got exactly what I wanted. Okay, I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, there were parts of it that I think I think to call it Game of the Year, to nominate for Game of the Year, is an overstatement. It was basically Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion plus. It was more of what made those games great. There was nothing really super surprising. The Emmy mechanic that we said, it was like, it probably kind of more got in the way, but it was serviceable. So
Sure.
it's like
I was surprised by how hard it was.
I
Yeah.
think, Sean, you mentioned during the VGAs your thoughts on Mercury Steam as a company, like in their past with Castlevania games.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you feel this is their finest work?
Yes.
You didn't-
Yeah, by a country mile.
You like Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate HD?
No. No, I
That's
mean,
weird.
not
I'm
me
sorry,
personally.
was that- what was that?
I had
Castlevania
a
Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate HD?
no. I had a bad taste in my mouth
It's
from
Intel.
Lords of Shadow and then Lords of Shadow 2,
Yeah.
which I wrote them
Sci-fi
off
one.
at that point. Didn't
Did you
play.
play Mirror of Fate?
No.
You know how Lords of Shadow is bad?
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I
Imagine
also
that, but like not as good.
I also skipped what is it? Samus Returns.
I heard Samus Returns was good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
I
that
skipped
too.
that
Yeah.
just because of that. But I just went into this. I was like, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It looks pretty
I can't believe
good.
they haven't just ported that to Switch yet. They would.
Where's the demand?
Well, I mean, after Dread did well, like you
Yeah,
think
it
Yeah.
would sell well.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna do it probably in about 4 years, and then in 8 years we may get another Metroid.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, yeah, let's.
Where's
All right,
Prime
we-
4
cut
at?
it.
We can cut it, yeah.
Blizzard Arcade Collection, I put it on this list just because it's probably the last release that publisher will ever see that doesn't also come with loads of baggage.
Dude, Overwatch is going to rip. Overwatch 2 is going to rip. When it comes out,
It
not-
was,
Yeah,
all
rip,
gonna
as in it's already in the grave.
you guys are going to feel like idiots.
Was it 2023? Question mark? Question mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm really
in a
excited.
year of terrible reissues, this was nice. Their dedication here.
Yeah, we
was
talked
thoughtful,
about it.
but Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah, some might say it's the best reissue of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's
So
cut.
it's not going to beat.
According to 5 Schmucks.
What podcast is that? We're smart. I'm smart.
Death's Door.
I don't know about surprising. This is the Titan Souls people. Titan Souls is good.
Right.
And the trailers
My
for this.
perspective of the game went from like nobody was talking about it pre-release, then everyone was covering it post-launch.
Yes, but do you want to...
The
Okay.
Devolver labels.
You know how you
yeah,
felt about Inscription?
unignorable, but yeah. Do I?
Pre-release.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
not after you played it.
Yeah.
So when you saw that trailer at the Devolver E3 thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you
I was
were
like,
like,
hell yeah.
you were like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about Death's Door, and that's how a lot of people felt about Death's Door.
Okay.
When they finally showed it off, it looked fucking sick. And then when you play it, guess what? It's fucking sick. But I don't know if I'd say surprising for Death's Door. Do you think?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I was.
That the pedigree's there.
Yeah.
The
It's
hype
definitely
was
like
there.
they definitely like ramped it way up.
Yeah.
I think it's a surprise how much it improves from Titan Souls, but
It's a great sophomore effort.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I walked away from this going, wow, that was really surprising. More
Yeah.
like, damn, that fucking final couple boss fights was really tough. Well, chalk that up to me being garbage.
Austin, you can definitely speak the most on Knockout City. But,
Yeah, I was gonna ask. There's a couple.
So I
games
made
in
you
here.
Me and
two-
Sean did eventually get to hop in a couple of AI rounds with you, and I mean, I was surprised in that I thought it would be
I want this to-
really shitty.
I want this to hang because
Yeah.
that trailer. Do you remember that trailer
I do, yeah.
with the fucking beginning part where it
Mhm.
was like a reality show
Oh God.
with all the
That-
fake
that
video
was
game characters?
rough.
That was awful.
Yeah.
And they were like, surprise, it's a dodgeball game that looks like Fortnite. And you're like, God damn it, EA. And then I played it
Feels good,
and it feels real good.
and it's
Yeah.
more in depth than you'd think, but not so much that it's like daunting.
It is
The
no,
controls in particular, like
it belongs
meticulously
nowhere
thought
near
out.
it belongs nowhere near any other list on this entire Game of the Year discussions.
yeah, the range of moves you can perform, like
It's not incredible,
no, earning a KO is satisfying.
but it is definitely surprising
Or like
how
yeah,
much fun
locking
it
your
is.
friend in a cage and then picking them up like a ball
Yeah.
and then letting them like belly flop and
Yeah.
wipe out. That I think the mechanics, I definitely on face value didn't think this game had a whole lot going for it. I kind of just
And it's
Grouped it up.
surprisingly simple yet surprisingly deep.
Yeah,
Feels good.
I'm still not totally on board with its aesthetic, but it's not obnoxious.
Not awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Halo wasn't out, I'd try and dig into it more, but it's like I'm mad curious to see how professionals play it. It's just a waste with how EA handled its marketing and release. It doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to have a regular following these days.
now
we couldn't even
did we
locate
not connect
people.
because we weren't high enough level to connect against
Prob-
people?
Probably.
I think
but
there was
don't-
like a
We were also playing it really late at night. I don't
That's
think
true.
there's a lot of an audience left on that game, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say it stays. On the other hand, as surprised as I was by Riders Republic, I think that can go.
Yeah.
Oh,
As
okay.
evidenced by best use of music.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That you want me to play it?
No,
better than
I brought that up to a group of friends, and I shit you not, one of them said, "I don't hate this," and I went,
And then
"I
you-
can't
yeah,
talk to you."
Yeah, and
anymore."
then you were no longer
he
friends.
was like,
That's a
it's
good
like
way to suss
shitty in a
people out.
he was like, it's shitty in a good way. I went, "Fuck off." No,
Hope you
It's-
banned him from your
it's-
Discord.
he owns that Discord.
I'll take over.
It's a stealth sequel to Steep. It's way
Yeah.
better than Steep. The biking part is the main focus. That's the most fun
Those
part.
quirky-ass
It's way better
trails,
than
huh?
BMX XXX.
What?
What?
Way
No.
better than Matt Hoffman's BMX. Dave Mears BMX.
How many titties are in this game?
I mean,
How many
when's the last time we had a
strippers
good
dance on a
BMX game?
bike?
Yeah, awkwardly
A long
in an
time.
FMV. right?
Descenders.
Oh,
is
yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
right. But-
That's the other part of it, is that Descenders is just that part distilled down kind
Right,
of fun
yeah.
too, but doesn't hang. It was surprising that Ubisoft managed to make something fun.
Yeah, no, I totally can agree with that. I didn't play the full launch, but I played the beta, and I was pleasantly surprised at how all the different ways you can interact with the environment as far as what you were using worked well enough
Yeah.
to be fun. So yeah, good point.
I got a cut suggestion. It Takes Two. It's a weird one. Like, it's Hazelight, right? That's the. They never ceased being a highly respectable studio. Like the track record was there, but I think you pointed this out, Austin. They led with the
Story.
rather
And the book.
They led with the book. You don't lead with the book.
Don't lead
Yeah,
with the
everyone
book.
knows you don't
Never
lead with the
lead.
book.
Don't lead with the crotch thrusting.
I mean, conceptually, on its face, this is an evolution of what we saw with A Way Out. But EA being EA, footage could not, like,
That was more of
weren't
a
able to capture what was special about it. I don't think anyone thought it was going to be bad.
That was more of a situation where it was like the trailer wasn't great, but we all still played it because fucking it's Hazelight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we
They've
still
proven
it was still
themselves.
anticipated, which I feel like if you're
Yeah.
anticipating something, it can't be on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the opposite happened and then some. I think that was the surprise, was how it took the industry by storm, even, recently winning the Game of the Year at the BGAs. But
Yeah, well, some of us weren't surprised. In fact, some of us bet on it, and some of us won because of that point.
That's
I'd
true.
like to point
Some
out.
of us.
Yeah, some of us.
I expected to like it. I didn't expect it would be like one of the best fucking co-op releases ever.
Yeah, that's the surprising part.
Yeah.
Moon Baboon.
But
that being said,
What, Moon
let's,
Baboon?
Moon Baboon being said,
let's talk about unpacking.
it's a
I
delight.
think it's
as we've
fucking
stated
great.
in
I didn't think
previous
it was going to be
categories.
that cute or that good, and I didn't think it was going to have the story it did.
Had
think it-
anyone heard a peep about it until it
Nope.
randomly appeared in the Game Pass store? You did?
Remember
So,
what you saw?
do you remember around E3 time, Steam did their demo days thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for like the Alien Hominid one.
Unpacking had a demo on that,
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
and
Did you
it
play
was
that?
it was the first two like
Levels.
moves.
And I'm assuming this was before they got picked. I want to say picked up.
This was before it was supposed to be on Game Pass, yeah.
Right.
And
It was sweet to see a project like this just simply speak for itself once it was out, but I
I'll-
didn't know
I'll
that
say
they did this
this.
demo run.
very rarely those demos, if you've ever played those Steam demo days things,
They
there's
usually
always
kind of
there's always a button on that menu that says add to your wish list.
Yeah.
And rarely do I ever click it. And the other day I had to remove unpacking from my wish list because I clicked that fucking button the second I was done with
I
that
noticed
demo.
that there's a bit of stuff in my Steam wish list that came out on like Game,
Game
Pass,
Pass,
so I
yeah.
never went back and removed it.
But I
I still got
absolutely
ooblets on mine.
Yeah, I think Back for Blood is on mine.
I absolutely think that unpacking deserves a spot here. I say
Yeah,
it
I do
stays.
too. I think it
It's-
stays.
It stays for now.
So there's a couple on here that it's like, I know there's a story behind why this was added. The big one that stands out to me is Psychonauts 2, because obviously I think it
Yeah,
was
talk
like,
about your fucking success stories.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like, I was not aware. I looked at this and I was just like, well, why was this a surprise? But you guys are saying that there was a chance this could suck.
So I said this during the break. You have to be a huge pessimist to put this on biggest surprise.
As an
And-
early investor,
Yeah. But this game was kickstarted. It
Yeah.
has been like, what, 15 fucking years, maybe
so
more?
that's a good point though. That when this game was kickstarted, I did not pay $60 for it. It was supposed to be a shorter experience. I paid $40,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it had a much lower budget. I think it funded at like $2 million,
How long ago was that Fig campaign?
like 2016, 2017. I don't remember, but it
was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Nobody wanted to admit at the time, but it wasn't looking like this was ever going to come out for a while.
I mean, so when you guys
especially not in the amazing state, this amazing of a state.
I was gonna say, I mean, just for the fact that it's like, I mean, how many kickstarted games just die in
after your Mighty Number 9s, ukuleles?
Well, in my mind, what is it? Star Citizen or something like that. That is the one that comes to mind. The one that's like the super ambitious space one that is
just
like
never gonna happen.
Yeah.
On top of that, I never thought Psychonauts was going to be bad. The thing was, I love Psychonauts 1, but Psychonauts 1 is not that incredible. And I think the surprising part of this game is that when I played it, I was like, this is incredible.
It's better than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being able to provide a great sequel this many generations later is already a rarity, but arguably surpassing an original.
The surprise more comes less from Psychonauts 2 being good and more that Psychonauts 2 is like
phenomenal.
My game of the year.
They triumphed over nostalgia. They triumphed over the shift away from platformers as a genre. Like it's and over changes in management and slashes in budget.
Don't want to put this on this list because it's kind of like the thing we had with biggest disappointment and worst game, where I think this is more deserving of just game of the year than biggest surprise.
I'll agree with that.
I think the reason that I put it on here is that there's interviews with Tim Schafer that were like going around that not too long ago that where it's like the development of this was like kind of grim at parts. Things got dicey for Double Fine.
Apparently.
And this is a shining example of how positively an acquisition can actually pan out sometimes.
Yeah, apparently being bought by Microsoft saved this game.
Yeah, because they were getting ready to completely pull stuff out.
Yeah,
like, just so it could.
Because I was going to ask that acquisition felt late in the game.
Yeah.
And this felt like it came out...
To the point they still had to make a PlayStation version. Like it was...
Oh, yeah. But this felt like it came out relatively shortly thereafter. So it's like, how long ago was that contract signed?
They funded like the last year and a half of development.
Oh, really?
Or something like that.
I have much
like
less distance in time from when they acquired
No, that was like
now,
2-3 E3s ago that they announced that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
I believe it was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was remembering them way closer together than
I think that's because the production extends out beforehand. I
guess that's a good point.
And as an early investor.
God damn it.
One more time?
As an early investor.
Okay.
I was getting a lot of updates from them through email, and every once in a while I would check in and just
it's not looking good.
No, it would be like, yo, we got the fucking levitation ball working, and it would just be Raz in like a checkerboarded, untextured room spinning around on a ball, and I'm just like,
don't know what the rest is gonna look like.
I funded
this looks good.
I funded this 2 years ago, dude. You doing all right? And then they're like bought by Microsoft, and all of a sudden the progress updates of them swinging in empty environments turned into story trailers.
I'll say to Chelsea's point of the parappa the rappa you gotta believe is that it is Double Fine.
I believe in Tim Schafer. 100%.
Was always at the helm.
Did you see his suit?
It was.
Oh boy, did I!
That man's never gonna let you down.
Using with style.
So I'm comfortable with
just taking it off.
You remember the Giant Bomb when they were doing the podcast in the hallway? And Tim Schafer walked by.
Oh yeah, and they just brought him on.
You guys talk about lobsters?
Yeah. And then the best is when he leaves, he just goes, bye Grim Fandango. Okay, bye.
Oh god, Grim Fandango. Okay, so I would like to bring up one. Just I think we should knock this out. Not that I don't think it's deserving, but The Forgotten City, certainly deserving of a nomination. I think it did come out of nowhere because I think you played it. And then I heard that it was a historical narrative time loop, and I was like, "Well, dude, this has got me written all over it."
I don't think Forgotten City wins this category, but
it should be acknowledged.
It would be serendipitous if it did, because the only reason any of us played this game is because of how bad 12 minutes is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of other people too. I think that's
when there was like a thing on Twitter when 12 minutes came out and everybody hated it.
Just stomped on that.
There was just like a couple people in the industry were like, yo, you want a time loop game that delivers on the promises of what 12 minutes was promising.
Yeah.
Play Forgotten City.
Yeah.
And it's
They owe it to that mess.
and it slowly spread. And then the second it came out on Game Pass, I played it. And then I came here literally when we were doing our anniversary update in November. I was like, y'all got to play Forgotten City.
And you know what? Actually, funnily enough, I've heard about Forgotten City because after we played it, I wanted to look up the reviews. And because I think when we first played it, a lot of the first reviews that came out praised it way too much. I think it kind of lowered. The score eventually started lowering. But the thing in the review that mentioned it's just like, it's really a time for, it's really an era of time loop games. And the first one that came up was Forgotten City. And I was like, I've never heard of this, but I
was not at all
out.
familiar with the original mod. I know it was extremely beloved in that community, but saying that one of my favorite games of the year was going to be born from Skyrim fan content is that's surprising to me. Personally,
You can definitely tell it's a Skyrim.
Oh,
engine
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So, but okay.
That being said,
it's not exactly a pitch that would grab me, but
I'm okay with cutting Forgotten City.
as well.
The reason I say it is because we've awarded it quite heavily, and I
yeah.
think that I'm glad that we went up to bat for it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree that it is also. I mean, truth be told, now that I think about it, it's like it was by definition a good, big, pleasant surprise that we would not have ever ran into.
And a video
if 12 minutes didn't suck so much.
And a video doesn't do it justice. It's something you have to see just the writing.
Yeah.
being
Oh,
so
absolutely.
intelligent
Yeah.
and clever, but
Yeah.
The only way to go into that game is to just go into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
With kind of no hype.
No More Heroes
Returnal.
3,
I haven't heard
maybe?
anything about Returnal.
Yeah, it's been a Returnalist day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just kind of letting you guys
I actually don't know anything about Returnal.
Let me ask you a question. Did you put this on here?
No.
You put this on
I did.
Here. Okay.
That was after I played it.
Uh-huh.
Because it was really cool to see Housemarque produce and launch a project of this scale and value.
This fucking guy.
See,
They're not the
I want everybody to close their eyes.
largest developer, but
I would like to flash back to October 2020. PlayStation 5 has been announced. The price has been announced. And the launch lineup has been announced. And the launch window games have been announced.
I say Returnal was never set to be a launch.
And but it was early. And there's one game called Returnal. And I went, oh man, I love Housemarque. And Randy goes, I don't know, it looks kind of stupid.
I didn't say that.
So
I believe he said, looks like it's going to be trash.
So I'm
Also
making fun of you,
true.
but the
There's
point I
words.
want to bring up is that you were a lot more down on this game before you played it than I was, and I
Yeah.
think than Sean was.
Oh, yeah.
Were you?
No, because I have a friend of mine who's in love with Housemarque,
Yeah.
loves bullet hell games.
Mm-hmm.
They did Resogun, right? Right.
Yes, which
And then-
was a PS4.
And then he was like, "Oh, you got to play Next Machina. You got to play this. And I was like, "Bro, that is literally not my fucking jam.
Yeah.
None of those ever has or
why do you
ever
have
will
an
be."
Ikaruga tattoo
Yeah,
that I put on you while you were sleeping?
it's on my butt, you weirdo.
Fun
I
fact:
thought it's a dickaruga.
Housemarque made the best Ikaruga game, Outland.
I never played Outland.
It's a platformer with the color switch.
Oh,
mechanic.
yes,
really
I have
cool.
heard of that. I just think that this is Sony's first genuine PS5 exclusive, and that it's able to hang with the other big boy releases is dope. But
No,
I
but why would you end that sentence with
my
but?
my argument is the same argument, and I know I've been down.
Oh, you
I know
motherfucker.
I've been down on Returnal this whole time, but my argument is the same argument that Chelsea had for Psychonauts.
Mm.
I think Returnal belongs in best game over best biggest surprise.
all right, yeah.
Oh, they're just like that, huh? I'm just literally don't get a
Do you-
vote.
All I'm
Well,
saying
I'm
is
asking-
I can write down what I think
I'm sorry,
our game of the year picks are going to be,
right?
and then
But I'm not
I'm-
happy with fifth, like you.
no, and both of the games that I think we're all going to decide on are on this list, and they probably shouldn't be
Okay.
because they're going to get best game of the year.
Should this?
Are you guys not
surprised?
surprised that Housemarque came out and made a 3D roguelike?
I am.
Are you
That's what I was saying.
Are you
yeah.
not gonna? Are
I
you not
agree-
surprised that
So
the
hold on.
pedigree went from just bullet
I
hell
agree
all the way
complete-
up to action adventure roguelike?
That was my point.
I agree
yeah.
completely with Randy, which is that Sony finally bought Housemarque. Do they own them?
Yeah, no, they bought them like
I
within
actually-
They
less-
haven't owned them
I think it
for
was in
years.
September.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's like the Insomniac thing,
Right.
where
Yeah.
they there's the Onion article that's just like all their employees found out that they weren't owned by Sony before.
Yeah. Exactly. And no, the most surprising thing about Returnal is in my opinion, I agree completely with Randy in that Sony bought Housemarque. They finally trusted them to like make a big boy game.
I think they bought them after though.
They did, but like they
that was the test.
Yeah, that was the test.
But they gave them more money than enough to make Alien Nation or some isometric top-down thing.
Yeah.
And Housemarque knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
But I thought it was obvious they knocked it out of the park from the trailers. That's my argument.
Yeah.
If you were do you think you were heavily surprised?
I would have never touched a Housemarque game if it weren't for this company. And not only am I going to play anything that they release in the future, I have plans to go back and play shit that I looked over.
All right, do you want to leave it on here then?
Yeah, I mean,
there's a couple others we can talk about first.
Okay, let's leave it for now.
I feel like I gave up too easily in aesthetic, and I feel like I had to fight more for this. But you guys are positing the argument that since it's going to hang for Game of the Year, that maybe it doesn't get this. I don't know. I still think it's the most surprising thing that I've played.
Randy.
Yeah.
Hit me with that No More Heroes 3.
So
this game looked like shit.
Yeah, and I was expecting it to be
and
just utter ass after the disaster that was
and the
Travis
last
Strikes
one
Again.
was shit.
Yeah.
And No More Heroes 3 is by no means an incredible game.
Yeah.
But I was surprised.
Yeah. I mean, it's no stranger that I love Suda, but...
I only played it because you wouldn't shut up about it after you played it. And I'm glad I did. It's very surprising. It's shocking.
I know Travis is always aligned with Nintendo, of course, but like it being a Switch exclusive only made me more nervous about like those hardware limitations. But it's not even the greatest entry in the series, but fuck, like I had fun. It was fun. And it somehow manages to maintain that irreverent tone in 2021, and that's a difficult line to walk.
You just love it when Suda fucks with you, though.
Yeah,
you
can
yeah. Randall,
it's as edgy as you want it to be.
When he actually delivers on the game that is just his shit in a game case, Randall's gonna be like, Game of the Year.
He's bringing back Let It Die. Like,
oh my, just let it die!
I'm like the only one who wished for that. But yeah, it's not as overtly even like as juvenile as they could have gone. It continues to satirize video games and nerd culture without, becoming contrived. This was a surprise to me. I don't know if I'd win the fight against other shit I'm seeing here, so I'd be willing to drop it.
All right. Well, we got 3 more we haven't talked about. You'd be willing to drop it. I also am.
Yeah.
But, No More Heroes, really. I was about to say, it's like, well, it sounds like we haven't really given No More Heroes a lot of love this entire time. And it's like, well, it seems like it deserves some sort of love.
I think it hangs for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to tell me.
Sean, let's talk about Chicory.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we can cut that.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it by the end, but I was also kind of exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah, I went into this a little bit after it came out, so I already kind of knew that it was getting high praise, and I went in with little to no expectation of what I was going to experience from not only gameplay perspective, but a narrative. I was surprised at how well the gameplay was, and also how hard-hitting the narrative was attempting to be. Not saying it didn't resonate with me, but I think it was definitely on the surface. Did not look like how deep it was kind of going. If you agree,
yeah.
But yes, walking away, I was like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
That's kind of my thing. Is just like I get it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It definitely deserves the praise, but it's maybe
a good game.
Yeah, maybe if I had been tracking it before and jumped in without any idea, I'd be a little bit more surprised. But yeah, I don't know how much.
All right. Well,
my opinion is stained.
I'm gonna cut that. We got 3 more heavy hitters.
Yeah, I say let's
go. Life is Strange.
You want to do Life is Strange first?
I want to. You know what? Shoot. Well, I feel like I was a huge fan of Life is Strange 1.
Yes.
That is probably one of my most beloved games in the past. I guess it's going on 5 years now, but it was amazing. And then the follow-up was 2, which I played the first chapter of, and I was like, I can't stand this.
Yep.
And then Tell Me Why, which was just, I mean, it was just so...
Wasn't there also like a Captain...
Captain Spirit was a prequel to 2.
Yeah,
but that's still like...
And I also,
no, you're right.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I also played that all the way through because it came with, I think it just came with 2, and I played it, and I was like, this is bad. And I mean, they were both bad for different reasons.
Before the Storm was solid, not a slam dunk. But
So yeah, my argument is that
everything following has been
2 isn't great. Tell Me Why is an abomination, and
But tell me why it was made, right?
but
Got him.
Yeah, the fact that we didn't finish
before the Storm was good.
Yeah,
and when they said Deck 9 was doing True Colors, that got my hopes up.
Yeah, more than Don't Nod proper.
I was very cautiously optimistic, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the end product.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and so finally, as a follow-up, is Life is Strange True Colors. I saw the trailer, and I was also cautious because it seemed the trailer, again, emphasized, it was just like,
that.
It was like, you can see the townspeople's true feelings, and it's just like, all I thought in my mind was just like, come on, like,
yeah.
It's just like, listen, like, the whole thing about it's like, Life
Matt
is
made a
Strange.
jerk-off motion.
I did make a jerk, where it was just like, Life is Strange 1, it was just like, yes, it was very like
it's lightning in a bottle. Like,
yeah, Life is Strange 1, obviously it had a very deep narrative, and you know, it was very emotional, but it seems like every single time since then they've just tried to reproduce. It's like they kind of took out what gave that game its edge and just made it just very melodramatic, and they took out what made it good and just kept the feelings part of it. And
they latched on to kind of.
And so when I saw that trailer, I was just like, they really don't get it, do they? Like, it's like, dude, it's like, yes, it is an emotional game, and people like the characters and how well developed they are, but that's not the entire game.
Yeah.
And then I finally played it, and I was like, okay, this is, you know, they did a good job with it. I think the plot could have been.
I do like the idea of them being like, people like the first one because of feelings.
Yeah.
and then they're just like, how about on this one? It's just feelings.
Yeah, and that's what kind of like, I was just like, I kind of sighed when I saw that trailer.
No, I was with you. I think I've on record has said that even in the show when the trailer, or the announcement, which was during.
It was Square's E3.
Yeah,
thing.
so it's like after 2, the prospect of more Life is Strange wasn't even something I was necessarily interested in, and I was prepared to be judgy again, but I took the risk, bought it the day it came out, and shit, I'm so fucking glad I did.
Yeah, you're always prepared to be judgy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met Randall not being judgy.
Shut up.
I mean, I think all these episodes have been pretty much just judgy. It'll hop in the judgy episodes, yeah.
It'll never replace one, but to see the improvements in both their tech and character work and the performances, like, you know, the moments that we've already.
Yeah, this was like a thing of you're never going to make Life is Strange 1 again, but Deck 9 gets what made 1.
Yeah,
good.
more so than
feelings.
9 does now.
Mm.
If they're going to give us more experiences like that, I'd welcome a new entry once a year.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be down for more of these if they're handled like this. Where previously I would have just dismissed the notion altogether.
I guess this is the same reason it was on the most refreshing game, or what games we needed most. Pretty much same reason.
Framing the franchise into anthology was always the right move.
But anyway,
putting this level of care is.
I'm going to keep
setting
this
the
on
right
here.
one.
Yeah,
I'm going to start this one.
No, I'm with you.
So we don't have to talk very long about this because we already did. Halo Infinite deserves to be on this list.
I agree.
I think for many reasons we discussed,
Yeah.
The premier Xbox or Series X title that was delayed multiple times.
That's the only thing we really have to bring up is that
the last being a full
like
year.
Sean said, 4 and 5 were dog shit. And
in my opinion,
they had to right the sins of 5 especially. Guys.
Yeah, and 4's okay, but
4's okay.
But yeah, and then they delayed it a full year out of a launch title, and you're like, oh fuck, this game's in trouble.
Yeah, it must be in trouble. Yeah.
And then when they premiered it, it didn't look great.
They went through several directors.
They kept firing people, and you're just like,
it was definitely marred with problems.
I am on record on this podcast as saying
it's the perfect throwback.
Don't talk to me about Halo Infinite. I don't want to think about it being bad. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have to.
Neither did I. That's why I was so pessimistic. I didn't want to go in with high expectations. So for me, this is
hurts
a
less,
huge,
I cried.
huge surprise.
It hurts less when you don't let anyone in.
Yeah. especially not Halo.
They squashed the Call of Duty and Battlefield juggernauts into the dirt.
Yeah, the
fact
fucking
that they
Nazis
made that fucking
after
the
months of
multiplayer
everyone saying
free
it was gonna be shit.
just like killed everything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Nazis and the future Russians were ready to duke it out, and Master Chief came in and shoved both their heads in a toilet and gave them swirlies.
And it's the most impactful launch they've had since 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's warming to see.
Yes, but this belongs on
and it was
here.
in trouble.
Oh yeah.
And the turnaround of public and press perception alone was like a colossal feat. Like, if you can like look up old news stories of a year ago, and it was like nobody's on anybody's anticipated lists, and then now it's like, you know, getting Game of the Year shit.
And
like,
if you, for some reason, think it's a disappointment because they're gouging you with prices for the in-game store, guess what? Prices are getting slashed starting tomorrow, so eat your own ass.
Yeah, why don't you just fuck off and play Halo Infinite for free as your Gray Spartan? Who cares?
Hey, we had a party playing on console, PC, and cloud all together.
Yep.
Like, seemingly, that's
very cool.
Yeah, wild.
And that was great.
But nobody on Xbox Series X. You were on that?
He was on.
Oh no! I'm sorry, not Xbox Series X. Xbox.
You mean Series S?
No.
Oh, old X.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh no, nobody was on the Xbox One.
Yeah, because they are not allowed in our party.
But she was on the cloud. He was on. You guys
Power
were. You were on Series
Power
X.
Of the cloud.
Yeah.
Alfred's on Series X. Matt's on computer. Randy's on computer. Dave's on computer.
Yeah.
I was on Series S.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the final entry.
Yeah.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know I'm a bit late to the party here, but having seen Guardians in a post-Avengers world really only contextualizes what went ass up with that.
Those trailers look bad.
Yeah.
That game looked boring as fuck.
Square Enix bungled just...
It's got the dog in it, though.
In the same way as It Takes Two. When It Takes Two focused entirely on story in their trailers, and that ended up being the worst part.
And Guardians was like, let's just show combat.
Yeah, they're like, let's just show combat. Meanwhile, you buy the game and you're like, wait a minute, this is just a Life is Strange game with a talking Russian dog. Why did nobody tell me this?
So, why did... Because didn't they even do, like, the slow walk thing? And, like... Jesus.
Yeah, I came off of that very cold. Like, well...
Oh, no, yeah, you
can't wait for bargain bin. See you then. Maybe not. But then
the reviews came out, and I was like, all right, I need something to play. Sure, I'll buy it.
I remember Bethesda did that in 2016 with Doom, when they were like slow walking Doom guy, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
But I don't know what else to say other than this absolutely belongs on here and is a front running contender for this category.
I have a question, and I'm just curious how much we may not know the answer, but was this actively already in development
when Avengers came out? Yes. Yeah.
And this wasn't just like in response to being like, oh shit. Because this game is probably the most like honest apology of a game I've ever seen, where they're like, this is what you wanted.
They're built on the same engine.
Yeah. Then why does this game
it's the Tomb Raider engine.
Why is this game like produced so much better? Like, it looks like, I guess it's not held by old. Did this game also come out on Xbox One and PS4? Or is this only?
Yes.
Oh.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it did.
But this game came out primarily on the new consoles. Avengers was an old game that came out before the new consoles came out.
But it turns out having a more focused, more narrative-driven, like linear experience, like that's, and the fact that you only directly control one hero means they could really devote the man hours to flesh out the action stuff and set pieces.
It's easy to say that this is in response to Avengers, but I don't think they would have had enough time to make. Like, to change this from a loot game into what it is. Like,
of course.
Yeah.
This was planned from the beginning.
I think I told you this when I first fired it up. What I found most surprising was just the general look and, like, it's the presentation. Like, it's just, it's crazy superior.
So, I guess...
Everything from the animation work to the art, like...
Yeah, I guess we can expect the same thing with all the Warner Brothers games coming out. That one's going to be just ass looter game, and then everything... there'll be, like, a single-player linear experience.
I don't think we're going to get many ass looter games after Avengers.
Yeah, hopefully
everybody's going to change pace.
The other thing, too, it is a mixture of narrative choice game, but there is real-time action parts of it where you fight things, which is like, it's kind of bizarre.
It strikes a good balance.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of bizarre that it's like the narrative choice game is obviously like, you know, they can be hit or miss, but it delivers well on narrative. But also you mix it up with enough action that it's not just a Telltale game. It's a unique hybrid, which I'm surprised more games haven't aimed for that before, it's a
very surprising hybrid. I explained it this way to everybody after I played it. It's a very surprising hybrid of Tomb Raider, which makes sense because they made the third Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
Mass Effect and Life is Strange.
You know what's funny? It's like I'm surprised I'm hoping that sets a trend because ready, narrative games. It seems like games either go all action, a la like God of War and whatnot, or all narrative, a la like Life is Strange or Detroit Become Human, yada yada. But it seems like this is it sounds like it was a great hybrid of the both, where it's like you're not just making choices and you're not just fighting.
It strikes
things.
a really good balance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just a quick question for you, Austin, before we take it to voting. You played the Avengers campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Does that, like, in comparison, is like, does even that strike that kind of like level of like cinematic pacing and like the way it's like edited, like, because even the vocal direction stands out far above that game here, which is wild considering the cast.
It could have. The loot shit gets in the way. Because that's the thing is that there are cool cutscenes and stuff, but you have to keep going back to the base to pick your next mission, to find a party, and to set your loot and
You know what?
your
This game
rewards.
doesn't have 11 fucking different separate types of currency. Where you're going like cross-eyed. Like the upgrade system of this is so like light, and
Yeah, you get points, and then you put the points.
yeah,
in things. Yeah.
it's not intimidating.
In Avengers, do you get like teleported out, or do you have to run back to a place to get out? It just automatically
Teleports
takes you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
see,
like
that's
it's
such
like
a
Destiny.
like it's such a sequence break.
It is
Whereas
really-
in
it really
Guardians,
is.
it flows so well because every time you return to the ship,
There's
it
like
doesn't
new-
feel forced.
Yeah,
It feels like
it
it's
makes
just
sense in
yeah,
the context of like.
I said
Right.
this. I said this in an earlier episode. It's a lot more of a Insomniac Spider-Man than it is a Marvel
Yeah,
right.
Avengers.
That was well said,
and,
yeah.
Insomniac Spider-Man fucking kicks ass, and so does this. So, yeah, this absolutely belongs on here.
Yeah.
Did Avengers have any variation in like the environments that this does, or is it?
Yeah, there was snow and forest, and then the one underground tunnel that they kept repurposing.
Yeah, you got 3. How many more do you need?
Well, this game's a strong reminder that
desert.
this
There's 4.
this tier of
okay.
game can exist.
How dare I?
And still have a passionate demographic, because it does feel like almost like it's from a different, like era of development. But so just to recap, we've now have how many? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Okay, so we have Guardians of the Galaxy, Knockout City, No More Heroes 3, Halo Infinite, Returnal, Life is Strange: True Colors, Unpacking, and Valheim. Any last thoughts people want to add before?
I was gonna say
The
I know
poll.
what my 2 are.
I was gonna say I can't. These are such heavy hitters. I don't think I can cut it down anymore. So I think I would rather just go to the top 2.
You know what's funny, Austin? I almost put that Matrix Awakens tech demo on here. I know it isn't a game per se, but it's fucking fascinating. Regardless, listen to our second VGA episode.
Wait a second. I do
Follow
have a
up on
question
that.
though. Okay, Halo Infinite. Did that wind up winning our most refreshing award? The game we needed most.
Yeah. Hey, a game can win 2 things.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can be surprising.
Not impossible.
That's fine. I'm probably gonna wind up arguing against it because of that reason. Just
well,
so you know,
I was
heads
gonna
up.
say my 2 are the only 2 I've played, and it's Halo Infinite and Unpacking.
Oh, really?
And those are my 2.
Okay.
My 2 are Halo Infinite and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
My 2 are Guardians of the Galaxy and Life is Strange: True Colors.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would have to be Guardians of the Galaxy and Life is Strange: Two Colors. Yeah.
Mine's Halo Infinite and Returnal.
And Returnal.
All right.
You
Then,
know, I gotta say it's
So
funny.
can we can safely cut No More Heroes, Knockout City, and Valheim?
correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know what's funny too is now having played Deathloop, I now have a lot of good coverage of these entire games, but Returnal is like the one glaring because
It evades you.
you know what? Yes, it does, and it's funny because it's like you keep going up to bat for it, and so it's like I need to play this game so I can like go up to bat with it too. I want to like be able to like speak more to it,
Yeah.
and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's rough, and it is a high barrier for entry because it is not forgiving, and it makes you hate it so much so. Like I said before, I had to put it down and come back to it with a different mindset in order to really power through.
I mean, get good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's,
he did.
that's what
Yeah,
I've been telling
yeah,
everybody
exactly.
else.
I
He
that-
took your advice.
I feel like I'm gonna.
I don't
regret,
wanna. I'm an adult with a job.
You know what? I feel like I'm gonna regret like we're gonna get through all these game awards, and then finally I'm gonna sit down and play Returnal, and I'm gonna be like,
You're gonna
fuck.
hate it.
No, I'm gonna be like, fuck.
Hey,
It
you-
deserved
you
way
might,
more
yeah.
awards, and it's like I feel like I'm gonna be because unforgiving gameplay. It's like
I
feel
think
like
I think you'd super dig it.
That's
I would probably dig it. Yeah.
That's definitely what puts me in a tough spot because it leads me to make the argument for it.
yeah.
And
You'll like it like minutes into picking up the controller.
Listen,
like, it just
I really
feels
like Returnal.
Mhm.
It doesn't sound like it from this
I
thing.
don't like how this is starting.
Whenever
You told me to listen, and then you said
gonna give you the
started off with a
compliment
compliment.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
these
But-
these comments I'm making are very category specific. I'm not saying Returnal's a bad game. In fact, I'm saying Returnal is good, and I expected it to be good. That's why I don't think it belongs in biggest surprise for me. But it's not just me. That's why I was asking you if you thought it was surprising, because I know Randy thought it was surprising.
I did. Yeah.
In so many ways, it's such a detachment from their previous catalog
And
in a
but
big
yet,
way.
In so many ways, it's not.
But as a person who never thought they would ever play anything Bullet Hell/Bullet Hell-esque after Ikaruga,
Mm-hmm.
with like generally no
Dump it on
interest,
Ikaruga.
I'm not dumping. I played that because
Oh, he's
I was told
dumping.
it was good, and then I was like, oh, it is good. Fuck this game. It's so good, I hate it.
That's the right reaction.
Kind of like how I feel about this game. Man, Housemarque's got
It's
a type.
They call it Ikaruga for a reason,
Ick.
right?
Ick.
Yeah. Woof.
What is everyone's number one?
Sounds like it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, Chelsea,
wouldn't- I
your
would
number
say no.
one, unpacking.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that's
My
okay.
number
And then
one.
Halo's the second.
Returnal? No, I
Me and
know
Sean always on the sidelines.
this
picking
is.
games
I think
that-
you guys have been very polite, in your attempts to get me to let go, but I just think back to the aesthetic category and how much I did
Hey,
not fight.
I lost the
Oh.
Resident Evil.
We did lose a
Like,
Resident Evil. We
yeah,
did. Yeah, we did.
battle there and-
We did get the Lady D. We went with the baby or the Lady D.
Da baby.
To baby
Maybe.
D.
The baby. We did get love on that. Okay, so ready? Fuck, I'm torn because
I'm gonna say Guardians.
Guardians, I think, had the lowest expectations of these to me.
Yes.
To the point that like I almost wouldn't have ever touched it if it wasn't for you guys. Like,
I was surprised when it won awards.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
I didn't even play it, and I was like, that game's gonna be trash.
yeah.
And then when it started
Especially
winning like
after
best
Avengers.
narrative, I was like,
Jeez, all right.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that a pity win? Like,
Okay.
Okay,
So that's a good point. Not to cut you off, I'll
Yep.
get this thought out.
you're good.
That's a very good point because when Returnal showed, when they came and not knowing that it was Housemarque and all these other things,
Yeah.
because I wasn't deeply rooted in their history, when it showed, I was sold. When
Yeah,
it showed
right.
originally, when they announced it, I was sold. So it wasn't a far stretch for me to play it.
Yeah.
However, going through it, not knowing what to expect, by the end, it was definitely, like I said, I'll fight tooth and nail.
Mhm.
It was the most surprising game for me this year and probably my game of the year. But with that being said, I can...
Listen, totally fair. I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah,
Against that.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can... I can definitely lay down the sword because there are still two on here
Mhm.
that I was down on.
Mm-hmm.
And then turned way
Yeah,
fucking
that's
up
what
on.
I was saying. Categorizing these is interesting because Life is Strange and Halo were like, or both fall into
There's a franchise pedigree.
yeah,
there.
and they're bringing you back after
Just
missteps.
Yeah.
cut
Um,
unpacking before Returnal, and then you can go.
No, okay.
Because I'm
wait,
laying
wait,
down my
wait.
sword.
Ready?
no.
Okay.
You know what? I'm
so-
gonna use my sword to stab you once you lay yours down.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And then mine cuts your head off, and I, get my wound sealed, and I'm good, and you're
Here's
dead.
here's where I'm torn because I don't feel overly strong. I think these are all good choices. Okay. Here's where I'm torn. You've been backing me a lot on a lot of my choices, and I feel like Halo. You've nominated Halo Infinite for a couple of things, and I think I wind up saying to cut it for one reason or the other. And so it's like I want to back that choice of Halo Infinite. The thing that I'm torn about is, have we given Returnal anything at all this entire
Doesn't
time?
deserve it.
It'll
Not
win
yet.
Game of
We-
the Year if I have anything to say about it.
Because that's the
No,
thing.
In
It's like
fact, Sean makes a really good argument for Eternal. Because I was ready to cut it from this category, but I think you're right.
The biggest point for me, like I said multiple times, is just what they came from, and the monumental step up.
Yeah,
They aren't Housemark, bullet hell guys. People are waiting to see what they do
Also,
next.
I can only imagine.
The
Yeah.
absolute balls to make a roguelike with that much production value.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Like
to
the
mention
only one that comes close is Hades, but like
little
Deathloop, it's a roguelike.
it's not at all.
Yes, it is.
a little
Not even
backyard baseball for you. I don't know if that's the term. Anyways, this was apparently an idea that they've had for like 15 years. Just never
Yeah,
had
I
the
have heard
funding,
about that.
never had the ability to like full on attack it. So to think that this sucker was laying in the think tank to debut on PlayStation 5 and fully showcase what their goal was, I'm glad it sat for as long as it did, because that sucker cooked real good and then came out and it was
And
delicious.
oh boy, does it showcase that PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
From controller to system.
So
Yeah.
the thing I have to say is, ready? Poor Sean here has been arguing, talking about like
guys-
singing Returnal's
You're already
praises. Ready?
setting me up for when
Yeah.
it doesn't win.
Wait,
Game of the
no,
Year.
No,
No.
is it like at the Academy Awards when they give the director, and then the director's like, "Well, I know I'm not coming back on stage."
Yeah.
So
I feel
Yeah,
like
you're not
Kelsey
gonna get
Grammer right
two.
now.
so ready? Sean's been singing his praises the entire time. This is the
I don't want
last.
your pity award.
This,
I want to
Yeah,
earn
now,
it.
now he's against you, man.
I want to earn it. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish what you're saying.
okay,
I'm sorry, I cut
we're
you off.
down. Okay, we're down to the last praising category besides Game of the Year, and I will say, if it comes to choosing between Halo Infinite and Returnal for Game of the Year, Halo Infinite is getting my vote. In fact, I would probably say Halo Infinite is going to wind up
But
being
this
in the
isn't-
top
this
three.
isn't- Constellation prizes. Like
Yeah.
this is the
can
best
win
in
everything.
that category. If I thought there was a game that deserved every single award, I would nominate it every single time.
Yeah, why do you
Talking
think
about
I've been
Final
talking
Fantasy
so
Endwalker?
much?
That
I'm
one's
talking about Final Fantasy Endwalker.
You're talking about Happy Home Paradise, yeah?
So
Final
anyway,
Fantasy
Final
Endwalker
Fantasy
is
Endwalker.
the antithesis of Biggest Surprise. Everybody knew that was going to be incredible.
Okay, I mean, listen, fine. You guys fine? You guys telling me not to give out the out
Can
the
I-
consolation award? I changed my answer.
No, I'm still
Sorry,
working.
Alex,
I'm
yeah.
still working through this. I'm not necessarily against any of these. I just
Let's and I
well, Sean
nominate,
already laid down his sword, so get Returnal out.
I
after all
nominate
that.
because here's
cutting either Unpacking or Life is Strange.
I think the thing I keep
Or
coming
both.
the thing I keep coming back to is that I would have played Halo Infinite regardless. True Colors, like I think I keep thinking about when you were talking about the reveal for True Colors with the empathy mechanic.
Yeah, and
which
I was like,
it's not nearly as rewarding
You
as
guys
the
like
time
feelings, right?
as the time rewinding power,
Yeah.
but
I just picture someone on screen going, "You kids like to feel.
Yeah.
You want to feel
That really-
something."
I'm not wrong though, right, Randy? When it's like it just feels like when they crafted these sequels, they took like the one thing is just
Yes.
like
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
our characters feel. And it's like
Yeah.
it's just like, come on, guys, it's
and
not
they got lucky because the hits still outweigh the misses,
outweigh the
but
misses, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm just glad this game made me feel happiness because I haven't felt that shit in years.
Halo Infinite?
No, Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
I honestly I could be persuaded on. Sorry, I'm just staring at the 5 of these and
We're going nowhere. Am I the holdout for Halo Infinite?
No, that was mine
No.
too.
yeah, that was Chelsea's as well.
What did
And
I say?
potentially-
Did I say Marvel?
You said Halo.
Yeah.
You said Halo and Returnal.
Yeah, I didn't want to put Marvel third, but that's the circumstance I was left in.
So now we're down to what, those 4 right there?
If Halo
Five.
is
Well, if we cut Unpacking,
Now we're talking.
If we cut Unpacking, we're cutting Returnal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like, well, now
no,
we're
because we've made that deal 3 times already.
Wait, no.
We
Yeah,
can't
how many-
keep doing that.
What do you mean? No, it's like
Celine's
no, listen,
died 3 times. She's right back, ready to go.
listen. Okay, it's time to start cutting. Unpacking.
that's not the first time you've done that.
I know. Unpacking and Returnal only got 1 vote each, and
No,
that's just
I'm-
like, no, it's time to we gotta cut
'cause
down to
it's
3.
not that democratic.
All right.
Because that leaving it up to that means that if a game only has support from one person, even if they make a good argument,
Okay.
You're right. It sets a precedent that we don't.
yeah, it's just like only one person played it, cut it, and we can't do that going into Game of the Year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I say Unpacking goes, unless Chelsea wants to make an argument for it.
My argument is I didn't play the other games.
I say
That's a pretty good
My
argument.
argument is also that you guys didn't make a compelling enough argument for me to switch my vote. So now the ball's in
none of
your
us
court.
did.
All right,
say-
well, I
unpacking
Yeah.
goes.
Me too.
The reason I say unpacking goes is
I say I'm going to jump out a window.
Well, you're in luck because we're almost done after this.
I say unpacking goes just because
I say you go.
Put her in a box, boys.
I've been wanting to go
Send her
for a
somewhere
while.
else.
Lock her up.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I guess if I had it, as someone who's a really big fan of the first Life is Strange and then hearing everyone talk shit on the rest of them, I guess I'm going to have to go Halo Life is Strange.
Okay.
That hasn't helped at all.
Oh, well.
Now I'm alone.
Well,
you know
suck
what?
it.
You know what? Seeing all these things, I would say I changed my answer to Halo Life is Strange. Yeah. I went up. The reason I said Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is because I was going off what you folks were saying about the description, but having played both Halo and Life is Strange, I would much rather back those two up.
having played
as-
all four.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
I said Guardians and Halo. I would cut Life is Strange out of these four, and I was shocked by Life is Strange.
Yeah.
But
not pleasantly shocked.
I think Sean makes a great argument for Returnal. I think Halo made me cry. Tears of happiness.
Bitch.
Yeah. And I think
Gee,
that,
dang.
but I think that if there's ever a hill I'm going to die on, I don't think Guardians doesn't make top 2.
I'm kind of with you.
There's not a shot.
And Guardians does have some faults.
Guardians has some faults. Life is Strange has some
Yeah,
faults.
yeah.
you
I
know.
mean, we discussed a little bit of
Returnal has some faults.
I think the one
He's
the
already
most
dead,
notable,
man.
The most notable issue I had with Guardians, real quick, was the overlapping and cutting off of like
Oh, yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
The game
at
doesn't
inopportune
fucking
times.
stop talking.
I know, and then I was never into their version of swearing.
Flark.
Replacing fuck with flark.
All right, well, fuck
Yeah.
off then.
And jokey and serious, but I don't know.
No, I think
I found it
but
distracting.
I think Life is Strange.
I don't know if that was an invention of the comics or not, but
We've
films
talked.
avoided
We've
it.
talked about it before. We don't have to get into it. I do think Life is Strange: True Colors has some narrative structural issues to it. I think there are full episodes that like I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah, no. I can think of the ones that you're thinking of too.
Is it,
Yeah.
is it 2 and 5?
I would say 2 stands out. I think 5 was.
I think 2 and 5 are the weakest.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 and 5 are the weakest. I would say
And-
episode
and-
4 was the best.
3 and 4 are really good.
Yeah, they stood out. Yeah.
And
Okay. You know what? Okay, I can see where you're leaning towards.
And I
I would go Guardians Returnal.
I'm okay with Guardians Returnal.
I would go with Guardians Returnal.
Yeah.
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 I would go for that. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I would go for
that I
that.
have to give up Halo for this. No, just kidding.
But
No,
I'm
Yeah. I think that's fine. I think that satisfies me.
All things considered, I did it. No, all things considered, Halo, like Austin said, I was playing this shit regardless, good or bad.
I said
For how long? Oh yeah, whoever. We've had the Halo conversation 19 times now. I am just blown away about how much I still love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were literally playing it last night.
But
Mhm.
from Marvel and Returnal, they both surprised me in a way that I maybe wouldn't have played them.
Yeah, I like your argument for Returnal is really good, and I think that like Returnal hits me in the same way that like Outer Wilds did, except Returnal doesn't make me want to fucking kill myself. Like this thing of like it won't. I was on Twitter today.
Yeah.
In the year of our Lord 2022, and Returnal was trending again.
Praise Jesus.
It
Really?
keeps coming back, baby. People keep playing it.
Wow, it's almost like it's a time loop game.
It's a roguelike.
I thought it was time loop.
It is. But oh, I see your joke. It was a good one.
Thank you. 20
But-
minutes later.
I will go back to Returnal, and I keep wanting to finish it. And
Same.
the only frustrating part about Returnal, honestly, is that I'm not good enough to beat it.
It definitely doesn't do anybody favors that is approaching it like by being as hard as it is. All I can say is when you beat a biome or world, whatever you want to call it, the time between shortens, so you're not retreading the same steps. So, but I've said that multiple times.
That being said, you can reward Returnal over Guardians over my dead body.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Now that I'm here, it's like it's gonna get a second place nod again. So it's like,
yeah, I'm not giving it to Returnal. So suck it.
I think both of yours got bumped. Yeah, they're both gone.
Suck it.
It's almost like you have no dog in this fight.
Is that it?
No, I have a dog. Look, he's right here.
Is anybody opposed to Guardians winning, Returnal being runner-up?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm absolutely
No, he
opposed.
said,
that's
is anyone
three.
opposed? Everyone said yes.
No, he said, is anyone opposed? And I said yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't think Returnal deserves
No,
to be
you
on
didn't
the
hear
list.
what he said. Didn't you say Marvel taking it over? That eyes have it 3-2.
I am like this close to strangling this entire room. Right? I didn't do anything this time. No.
I thought this was way long ago. I didn't expect Returnal to get top 2, but it's
Wow.
getting 2
Wow,
for the second time.
He said he was giving up 20 minutes ago.
I really was.
I think Returnal deserves some love.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you want to reward Returnal?
No, I was saying getting second place.
Second place, yeah. I think Guardians comes
got
first. Yeah.
So much
All
conflicting.
right, well, there you go.
conversation
Now
going.
it's 3 versus 1, and she's abstaining. So
That doesn't work like that.
The room has spoken.
Yeah.
Marvel's
Wrap
The
it up.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the biggest surprise. Congrats to that. And with our second place trophy getting awarded to Returnal.
Tied
the
for
first
first, as we like to call it.
Now, next week is the major leagues, you guys. Day 4 is over. No personal awards tonight. There's only 2 categories left. Worst game and best game. Well, best game will be a top 10 games, rather.
Yeah.
So
That is so.
you're not going to want to miss that. This
I
has
mean,
all just been a warm-up.
I want to miss it.
So it's like, it's funny because it's just like, man, it was hard enough paring it down to like pick 2. Having to do a top 10, it's just like.
makes
Top
it
10 should
easier.
be
Yeah, yeah.
easier. You
Yeah.
get more slots.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's that
I'm
first spot.
skeptical.
I think it's going to get contentious.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
Well, I already know what goes there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God you're here to make all of this
You know
way
what's funny?
easier.
This is
Some
practice. The battle's
some might
before the
say
war,
I'm
Matt.
You know what's-
psychic.
The
So,
gloves to come off.
You know what I think
Yeah.
is funny is like I think a lot of us know what's going to go in the
I
first
think you're a
slot. I'm thinking
psycho.
like second, third, and fourth are going to
Not.
be like
Yeah,
the contentious
yeah.
slots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of fighting.
So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward
It's
to
going to
it.
be good.
You forgot to say not.
There's
You
no
say
not.
it so pleasantly. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fight. I'm just like, oh,
All right.
no.
As always, thank yous to everyone, those in the studio and those out there listening. If you got to get caught up, please go listen to our other parts. Plenty of material to keep y'all occupied until the finale drops. Remember, will be spoilers. One last time, again, wanted to get that out there. In the meantime, however, plugs.
Yes. Thank you for listening. You can find all of those previous episodes if you missed them and many, many more at hotbuttoncast.com and on all the podcast services. And you can follow our socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at hotbuttoncast for updates on the future.
Yeah.
That's it.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, Sean's dancing right now because
Nope.
Returnal got
Yeah, on
runner
the
up.
ceiling. I don't even know.
Already did that. Didn't want it again. Forced me to take it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.